Start wearing sunglasses. No. I'm just going to give me headaches.
I'll get a ring light in here today.
You can turn this one around. It works. Trust me. It was on yesterday.
Good morning.
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
Real dadgum good. Welcome in, people. The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Hello to you, and how do you do, Upstate South Carolina? What up, America? Howdy, world. Great to be with you. Happy Wednesday, though it feels like a Tuesday because we were off on Monday. We were off 6 days before that. Don't worry. We're back at it full speed ahead. Midweek edition of the show. Get started right now, and boy, howdy. Gee golly willikers. Do we got a whole bunch of stuff that we got to talk about this morning on the show. I am Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, on the ones and twos. Say hello to the people, Lonzo, but take long enough that I can go over there and turn these lights down.
Okay, I will do that because I will say one thing. I don't know if your camera can handle your movement because, by the way, we're on stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch,
Twitter.
X. It's known as X. But your movement, because you're standing up again today, has caused it to do some weird
I hit a cable.
thing.
I hit a cable.
Is that what? No,
Yeah, I hit a cable.
No, it's your quick movement in the camera trying to catch where you are. See, it just did it. It's blurring. It's some sort of Bruce Lee effect.
Be like Walter. Love Bruce Lee.
Do the hand thing. Do the. That's not not popping and locking. I'm talking about what Bruce Lee does.
Can't pop and lock. I can only do that arm thing. I can only do that. What is that? The arm wave?
It's a wave. I don't think
Sure.
it's called an arm wave, but that's a little too literal, probably.
Literal is what we do around here. We're a semantic show. Welcome in, people. It's spectacular to have you with us. I hope you had a wonderful Tuesday. Hope you enjoyed the show yesterday. You're going to enjoy it more today. And here's the fun part. You can be a part of it. 844-326-3663 is the number. 844-FANFONE if you want to be a part of the show with me and Lonzo. I had a good run going there.
No, I tried to rescue you because you were faltering, and so you could have been drowned out by the sound and then moved on.
I backed myself into a corner, but that's all right. All right, not everybody's Master P. All right,
Really? That's where, I mean, I'm sure there's got to be a more current rapper than Master P.
I was watching South Carolina LSU basketball last night, and the Gamecocks were getting that ass whacked so bad by the Tigers that the two guys on color commentary were just like looking for stuff to talk about. And at one point, Master P came up. I don't even remember how. I know I was sitting there. I was kind of checked out of the game because it was pretty clear South Carolina was not.
Wow. So their go-to was Master P?
Yeah. So I was watching it.
What was
And
what was the demographic of the announced team?
Older. And it sucks because now when I say older, what I mean is
Your age?
my age.
Okay.
Precisely and exactly. So older.
Didn't Master P have some sort of catchphrase?
Master P, Juvenile, that whole era, they all had one.
You don't remember what it is because you've gotten older.
Yeah, my memory's a little foggy, fuzzy, hazy from back in the Master P days, back in the Juvenile days. Cash Money taking over in the 9-9. For those of you that are in your late 30s to mid 40s, you hear Cash Money taking over in the 9-9, and you know that the next 2 minutes and 45 seconds of your life are about to go bananas. That's an old school reference from your boy. You're welcome. I don't know or remember how they got on the conversation. Damn it. I thought we were going to make it a couple of segments before Lonzo, who spent a significant chunk of time yesterday evaluating what's a wonderful song to play when Rob goes on his Back in My Day. In fairness, though, you're playing this in a segment in which I'm talking about the cash money millionaires of the 99 and the 2000.
Yeah, it's still, you're talking about back in your day. So I'm just going to say, shout out to Chris.
Two wildly different genres,
Shout
is
out
all
to
I'm saying.
Chris Evans down the hall for suggesting this whilst I was looking for ragtime.
We were doing a segment yesterday, which will be brought back up later on, thanks to Rich Eisen, whom you can hear right here on the Fan Upstate from noon to 3 every weekday. We were doing a couple of segments yesterday. Do you mind if I reach over and turn that ring light down? Because it's very bright. Like it's going to give me a. I'm
enjoying the fact that you're trying to grab the wrong controller.
Oh, I can't reach it. It's over there, and I'm going to knock stuff around. You just like 2 clicks down, if you don't mind. I'm good. This is the most diva I've ever sounded on the radio. Can you turn the light down? It's gonna mess up my migraines over here. That's somehow worse. You clicked mode, not down. It's the little minus button.
You think I can see this button? I mean, I can hand you the controller since
Who gets the old man ragtime music now?
There's no doubt that I'm old.
So we were talking about something, and listen, I don't even know if it's funny anymore. Lonzo spent like a all right there. No, wait. Yep, that one. And then nope, you did it. Yep, all right, one more. Yep, and then the other button with the minus sign, you drop that down like 2 clicks. I think it's the bottom button. Yeah, there you go. One more. Yeah, one more. That's wonderful right there. That'll work. Thank
I
you.
didn't do
Thank you
anything
so
on the
much.
last one, but you seem to.
No, it absolutely did. I was watching it. Listen, I can't work under these conditions, okay? I need my lighting to be exact and specific. We got
someone to come over and fan you now. I mean, it's a little toasty, and you keep wearing warm stuff.
Buddy, I was told the words wintry mix today. Buddy. I was told wintry mix today.
Yeah, but according to the weather app, which of course is always so correct, it's not supposed to happen until like 10 a.m. So, I mean, like right when we
That's the
get
next
off the
time
air.
I got to go outside. So the hockey sweater feels very proud. Also, we're celebrating. I'm celebrating hockey this week. I don't care what anybody say. Hockey's amazing.
You don't leave here immediately after the show. You go in and do some wonderful work.
I leave here whenever Chris is done fixing whatever I broke that day. That's when I leave. I didn't break anything yesterday. It just broke. It wasn't my fault. We got a lot we got to get to on the radio program today. The Audio Blitz is back because I spent an hour and a half watching Chris do hard work yesterday while and this is true, after I stood through the entire 4-hour show yesterday, sat on the floor in the office hallway for an hour and a half playing on my phone, waiting for that to get done. Thanks to Captain America Chris Evans down the hallway for getting it done. When I say sat on the floor, Lonzo, what I mean is my ass was on the floor.
Yeah, but you're a tall guy.
Quite literally.
You're a tall guy, so you take up the entire hallway when you're sitting there leaning against the wall or whatever.
I did.
But the sad part, I'm upset with people down the hallway saying something to you. It's not unusual to see someone laying in the hallway. Just ignore it.
Scientific research says, I read this paper because I'm a big sit on the floor. I'm really a big lay on the floor guy. All right. There's always been something for me that's very comforting about like laying on the floor. When the stress levels get high, lay on the floor. And some amount of time ago, I don't remember what it was, but I read a paper where I can't remember who the direct source was. Doesn't matter. I read a paper from a well-respected medical scientific journal that said there is a proven psychological benefit that includes the release of serotonin if you, when in a moment of high stress, lay on the floor. Now, in fairness, I've laid on the floor for a lot of different reasons. I used to lay on the floor after college fraternity parties because the tile on the bathroom floor is very cool and it kind of helps reset, if the world happens to be spinning around and rocking back and forth for reasons, none specific. Used to lay on the tile floor. That helped a lot. And now is an old man who doesn't really still imbibes, will still knock down a good bourbon at night, but does not have the hangover tolerance of a young man and therefore does not go hard in the paint like he used to. Now it's just, oh, the world's on fire. Everything sucks. And I'm very stressed out about it. I think I'm going to lay on the floor for a few minutes. And that actually has, that's not acceptable for this. Even the young people admit that the world's very stressful right now. I feel like an old Jerry Seinfeld. The world is on fire.
I'm not stressed right now.
What's the deal?
I don't know from whence your stress comes.
I like to believe that the world's on fire.
Okay.
Proven psychological and health benefits in times of great stress to just laying on the floor. Now, I'm pretty sure that it's relatively frowned upon at work. But here's how much I like it. Yesterday,
why is it frowned upon at work? Not here.
It's just relatively unprofessional for your boss to turn the corner and for you to just be full planked out on the floor in the office. Yesterday I was sitting on the floor and we heard the boss man talking down the hallway, and I was sitting on the floor and I was like, uh-oh. You know, if he comes down here where I'm laid out on the floor, I'm probably going to get in trouble for that. And Chris Evans looked me dead in the face and goes, I don't think it'd be for that. Oh, great. Now I feel awesome. Now the sense of impending doom has absolutely gone away. Thank you, Christopher.
He was absolutely right.
Absolutely he was. But I didn't need to hear it. You know, there are some things in this world that we know. You don't have to say them out loud. We know. I know I'm in trouble for something. I live my entire life in trouble with someone for something most of the time. I don't need it reiterated to me. I got it. I know it. All right, coming up on the radio program today, because we have got many things to get to. Major League Baseball has made a major announcement about the automated ball strike, the Robo-Ump. 60% of spring training games will have automated balls and strikes available. Not to say they will use them in every one, but 60% of spring training games will have automated balls and strikes available. Let me say very quickly and very clearly. Good. Finally. Thank you, baseball gods. This has been a long day coming. It took too long to get here. But finally, we've arrived at a moment in time where maybe, just maybe, umpires won't suck. Maybe we just have a thing where balls are balls and strikes are strikes, and we don't have to go into this long subjective. Well, you know, the zone's up here, and for this umpire, it's over there, and the plate, is it on the rim? Is it this? Is it that? Nah. It's a ball or it's a strike. It's over the plate or it's not over the plate.
Skynet brought to you by MLB. Thanks. That's where I thought impending doom would come from.
Well, then be better, human beings. Be better. If you were better, we wouldn't need it. All right? If we were better, we wouldn't need it. You know, I absolutely think there are some spots in humanity where maybe we're getting a little carried away with the technology. Okay? Like maybe some spots in the world that like maybe we're getting a little carried away with the tech. But here's the thing.
Yeah, robots delivering food. That's just, I'm still not there with that yet.
That's not one of them. I'm here for that.
Okay. All right.
I'm here for that.
Do you have to tip your robot?
What would you tip a robot in?
Crypto.
No, I'm not using your fake ass monopoly money, internet. I'm sorry. I have a very strong stance on crypto. I'm not buying into your fake monopoly money that you tell me exist, but it can't be proven. I can go to the bank right now and I can go, hey, can I have my all of my radio money? And they can go, yeah, we absolutely allow people to take out not that much money. So sure, you can have all of it. I can do that. Your crypto bros.
No, actually, they say no. They put a stoppage to printing of pennies. So sorry, we can't pay you right now.
Yeah, that's been something that's been on the docket for a very long time. I'm up in the air on it. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I don't really know where I fall on that.
You just don't want to agree with it.
No, I've given Donald Trump plenty of credit for some ideas that he's had. That one I genuinely want to know because and this comes down to. This may shock you. I haven't done the research on whether or not there is some sort of inherent value to the country in getting rid of the penny? Do we have enough pennies? Are we going to get to a point where everything is rounded off to a nickel as its final price?
My understanding is it takes 3 pennies to make 1 penny.
I've heard that before.
If that is true, then it's a waste of money. So I mean, you know. And aren't there enough pennies in circulation?
See, here's what I would say. I don't know is the answer because I don't know how many pennies we produce per year. I don't know what the cost of producing those pennies is. What I do know is that with, sales tax in South Carolina is what, 6%, right? So in order for us to get to a point where everything ends in a 5 or a 0, now all these prices have to be kind of like checked and registered. Obviously, nobody's going to say, yeah, we'll bring it down 4 cents to get to a 5 or a 0. I don't know. I haven't done the research is all I'm saying.
In 2024, according to AI Overview, and they don't like me, but 3.2 billion pennies were produced in 2024. 3.2
billion is in real people money and in out here in the public money is an insane amount of money. $3 billion in the total federal budget is, I would be willing to bet, like significantly less than 1% of the budget.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a whole. We're borderline into dangerous territory now. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do is we're gonna run to a break. What we're gonna do is when we come back here in just a minute, let's get into this automated balls and strikes conversation. Because just like I knew was gonna happen, I bring it up. Skynet comes into the equation.
Why'd you raise your leg?
Because I was throwing a pitch.
Okay, as long as you weren't passing something.
No, I was throwing a pitch. We're talking baseball here on the show. So when we come back, 60% of spring games will have available to them automated balls and strikes. Robo-umps in play. Good. Let's talk about it. Then we got to get some NASCAR in here as we continue watching the fallout from the Daytona 500. There's some fellas out there that are a wee bit heated. Head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, Kyle Mountain, going to join us live on the stream this morning at 8:40 a.m. to talk a little Bunnies hockey because the boys are back in town this weekend. Military Appreciation Night on Saturday. We'll talk to Kyle Mountain about what that means and a whole lot more. I am Rob Brown. He's the great one, Lonzo. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Fan Upstate. BRB. Also, I don't know that you can. Can you explain this to me? In the past 2 weeks, I'm down 10 pounds. I was at 8:30. I checked in yesterday. I'm 9.5 pounds. 9 pounds. 8:21 yesterday. However, like the gut isn't changing. Everything else is, and it's really infuriating. I haven't had an alcoholic beverage. I had 1 glass of wine last week, and that's all I've had.
Okay.
Like I don't know, and it's getting.
How do you know I'm not talking about that?
Oh no, maybe those. That could be. Okay, accepted.
Why are you so quiet, Chuck? I'm talking to the radio because that's what you guys do. I know you do. Everybody talks to the radio. If you don't talk to the radio, then you're probably weird.
Ingles, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Can I wonder if, okay, we never confirmed if I
Our daughter
could
Jessie loves playing detective.
record in here.
But since
With the
we
new
discovered
change.
she has sensitive skin, we've been playing.
Are you scared that you'll try to do it and it'll mess up stuff?
No, what I'm scared is that it won't record.
I know, but if It recorded in there. If you record it, you're not gonna know till you try it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then
'Cause I got like 5 or 6 more.
will it lead to another hour's worth or so of fixing your computer again?
Right. Which is fine because I do have a little bit of time.
Ah,
A little bit.
Yes.
piano's
Bobon singing romantic Valentine's Day song.
Theo Vaughn.
Bobon?
Bobon.
Bobon, goldfish commercial, big guy.
Oh,
European.
okay.
Bobon.
I thought you said Theo Vaughn. Like, okay. Is he playing?
No.
Okay. Because those big hands, that would be impressive. At his age, Trey, varicose veins is something he needs to be concerned about.
That's the first thing you've ever said that's genuinely made me.
He just, I mean, I was just, I was interacting with the audience. That's all.
Feel free to not. If that's
Dude, I mean, you're fine one day, then you look down the next. It's like, why is that purple? I mean, talking about veins, by the way. You need to get your brain out the gutter. Well, that would be bad too.
This is a test. This is only a test.
Nope.
Words that have been said many times in the world of broadcasting, words that were said earlier this week by Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball. The game of baseball started back in 1864. And the first argument about balls and strikes between batter and umpire took place probably, if I had to guess, in 1864. I'm not a baseball historian, and I don't know that anybody's ever written that information down, but I've had to guess that umpires and batters have been arguing balls and strikes since there were umpires and there were batters. It is now 2025. At least that's what my computer is telling me here. February 19th of 2025, if you'd like to be specific. And one of the wonderful things about being alive in the year 2025 is that technology has gotten a hold of everything. And I would argue that while there is a limited subsection of things that technology has made worse, most things, in my ever so humble yet frequently correct opinion, have been made better by technology. I make the argument that transportation is better with technology. The spread of information has been made better, while the spread of disinformation has been made worse. I'd make the argument that shopping is better because of technology. I would make the argument that broadcasting is better because of technology. I'd make the argument that most things are better because of technology. And yet, with that knowledge squarely in hand, sports, for whatever reason, with the exception of broadcasting, where continued added technology to broadcast has heightened fans' experiences with the sports in question.
Nope.
Yup. The yellow first down line on the field. That is chroma key. Early CGI that has just consistently gotten better.
It's also not accurate. I mean, so
it is
that.
not to the inch accurate.
It's an estimate.
Correct. And yet, it's still a wonderful resource, even if it ain't perfect.
Oh, yeah? Why can't I see it when I go to a game?
I actually was asked that one time by a young lady that I took to her first football game as a date. It was our last date. Not because of that, all right? Not because of that. She was lovely. We just didn't click.
She saw Carlito and it was over.
He showed up on my Instagram yesterday and I was like, you son of a... I'm not mad at Carlito. She was a smoke show and she threw herself at him. Like, come on. What am I going to do? Be mad at Carlito? That's not okay. Carlito's cool.
You can't be mad at cool.
Can't be mad at Carlito. He's cool. So I make the argument that with just about everything, from the taking of a ticket to the ability to buy your favorite jersey online to everything that happens in a television broadcast, technology's made it all better for us as sports fans. But for some reason, and I know what the reasons are, and I'll tell you here in just a second, those same sports have been, year by year, largely hesitant to embrace and enhance technology within the games themselves. Now, the words that you're going to hear very frequently, including, I assume, at some point, probably in this segment, as an argument against technology in sports is, we like the human element. AKA, we like when players have to respond to incorrect calls.
Nope.
Yes. Do me a favor. Zoe, I am gonna take, because I'm not sitting down right now, I'm gonna take a step back. And I want you to do your best to explain to me what the human element is in a way that doesn't come across as incorrect calls make the game better.
Because you are human and also stubborn. There's nothing that I could say that could convince you otherwise. Even if the data was out there to back it up, you have decided that this is how things should be. So I cannot convince you. It would be a waste of airtime.
So you don't have an answer?
As I said, it would be a waste of it. You just want,
Okay, let's waste the airtime. I'm here for it.
You just want to fight, so you
No, I
think you
don't.
can just destroy me. So
No, I don't.
obviously you're right. So I'm just gonna sit back.
No.
Dude, you put your arms behind your back.
Yes,
like
because
you're ready to debate.
No.
When you were on the debate team, is that what you did?
I was never on a debate team. I could have been. I should have been. I'd have been real good at it. I played sports like a loser. I put my hands behind my back.
Calls the Honorable Rob Brown, who's going to explain why we need robo umpires.
I put my hands behind my back because it turns out, and I've learned this about myself, I'm a little demonstrative. And sometimes when I am genuinely.
So when we were about to debate, you were about to get to look physically imposing?
No.
Is that?
No.
That's
I have a
yeah.
tendency when I am engaged in a conversation, not a debate, a conversation. I have a habit sometimes of physically responding to the things that my conversation partners say while they're still saying them in a way that can be distraction. I put my hand behind my back because I genuinely want. And if Lonzo doesn't want to do it.
Listen, I rarely look at you anyway, so that's not really that big of a deal. Here's what it comes down to. I do believe that the human element is part of it. And you're not going to convince me otherwise with what you consider are facts. So, I mean, this is going to be an eternal debate until I die, probably, or am retired by people down the hallway, which could happen at any time. It just, listen, that's not my baseball. Okay, Rob, the baseball that you want, the baseball of the
You're not going to
future,
hit yourself with the ragtime music there?
Where the robots are a big part of the game. That's not my baseball. That's definitely not the baseball writer's baseball. It's just, I mean, come on. It's what, by the way, not a baseball fan. So anytime I say it's not my baseball, what it comes down to is I am concerned about too much technology. I get what you're saying. I really do. But you want to put people out of work, and I don't. I like for people to have jobs. Once the umpires are shown to be obsolete by the technology, then they no longer have a place to work, no longer a place in society. And so they roam blindly down the freeway of life.
It's just Mad Max, but everybody's wearing blue with caps with short bills on them.
Absolutely. They're going to be.
It's Mad Max, but they all have face guards.
Do you want that umpire as your Walmart greeter checking your receipt? No, you do not. So I just obviously you're against the workforce. You're against humanity, and that disturbs me.
Okay. I shall, despite the Immense amounts of sarcasm, which is
No,
appreciated
no, I
because that
was,
is what we do here.
I was heartfelt. I would
Mhm.
I would pound my chest, but I would hurt myself. So I'm not going to do that.
That's fair. I will respond to all of it. The human element. And if anybody, listen, the phone lines are open every single day, every single hour, 844-326-3663. That's the phone number. I am begging for anyone at all out there, any one of you, to call the show right now at 844-326-3663. I am begging for anyone to make an argument for the human element being a good thing for sports that makes it sound or in any way feasible that the human element doesn't mean incorrect calls in the game. Because let's take a look at what we're talking about here, which is the strike zone. Robo-umps, automated balls, and strikes. Now, number one, to address the primary point that the great one had right there, umpires won't be out of work. They won't be. They'll still be behind the plate. They'll still be crouched down behind the catcher. Okay?
So they're just going to be there to clean off the plate.
Hang on.
That's what I mean with that
I'll
little
explain,
brush.
I'll explain how it's exactly going to work. There's still going to be an umpire. There's still going to be an Angel Hernandez. The number one reason that robo-umps exist, Angel, that's your legacy. We should call it the Angel system. You're the reason.
Wasn't he fired or was that a different guy?
No, he retired.
Oh, okay.
And by retired, I mean, they were like, dude, okay, like, you got to go.
I hope he's in control of the robo-umps. That would be great.
There's still going to be a catcher. And he's still going to, the umpire's still going to get down behind him and he's still going to crouch down and he's still going to watch the strike zone. And after the pitcher throws a pitch, he's still going to stand up. And when he does, there's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be like a little Apple wristwatch or it's going to be a little buzzer in his pocket or like the catchers have the pitch comm with the little tiny headset that goes behind their ear or in their cap or whatever and talks to them or what. But there's going to be something that alerts the umpire to that was a ball or that was a strike, as was evidenced by like lasers and science-y stuff. And that umpire is going to get to either stand up and go, ball three, or he's going to get to stand up and do whatever dumb demonstrative, hey, look at me, I'm more important than the game because I'm the umpire, I'm in charge, strike three dance he wants to do. The dramatics, the flair, the theatrics will still be there. That's not going away. The only thing that's going away is incorrect calls. So I am begging for any of you to explain to me the human element in a way that the human element doesn't come across as I like incorrect calls and I like having to watch the players react and respond to not what they've earned, not a pitcher earning a ball or a strike by being able to effectively paint the corner, not a batter earning a ball by having a good eye batter, good eye, good eye, good eye.
I cannot wait till that nerd sitting in his room, that baseball nerd, that stats nerd who hacks the umps and makes everything be strikes. And then Rob Brown will just pass out.
Wait.
He would just pass out on the floor.
Wait.
My technology has been hacked.
Wait. If your argument is the tech could be hacked, can't I just turn around and go, umpires could be paid off to influence games? Yes, it's the same thing.
No, that never happens in professional sports, ever.
Yeah, the point here is if you want to come up with a 1% of a possibility that could make this bad, I can come up with the same thing. So the theatrics aren't there. The theatrics are still there. Umps can still go, look at me, I'm doing my strikeout dance or whatever strikeout dance they want to do. That's still on the table. The only thing that's going to go away is balls being called strikes and strikes being called balls. We're going to get accurate reads. We're going to have pitchers earning the result of the pitch that they threw. We're going to have batters earning the result of their decision to swing, not to swing, where to swing, how to swing, or to watch it go by. How's that bad? How's that bad? Why is player earning the thing that player earned by athletic prowess bad for the game of baseball? Somebody explain it to me in a way that makes sense. Scotty, if you want to give me a call back, 864-326-3663. I'll move you to the front of the line. 864-448-864-326-3663 is the number. Anybody. I am begging you to, I am challenging you to explain to me how the human element is anything but incorrect calls being a part of the game, and why incorrect calls being part of the game is good. Because I don't accept the argument, well, Rob, that's just the way it's always been. I don't care. We also used to take horses and carriages to work. And then one day we got a car. We went, oh, this is better. This is better for everybody. So somebody make the argument and I'll hear it. But until then, Team Robo-Umps forever. You can keep your horse and carriage in the stable. All right? Awooga. You can keep your old school, old-timey tech back there in the ragtime days. Those of us who like things that are good and beneficial, we're going Robo-Umps, baby. I should probably tell you what the actual system is going to be. We'll do that next. The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate. That music kills me.
By the way, Tiger, football season's over. And if it were not, and that thing was implemented, then when Patrick Mahomes got his head knocked off, they might have called that.
Mm-hmm.
They might have. They didn't, because it's human element. And that's just something you got to live with. Look, it's a gold chain advertisement.
Yeah, I don't know what this company is. I guess they just make chains and like that's it.
Yeah.
But they've been all over sports. This Jackson company. I mean, good on them.
I mean,
I'm not an anti-chain guy, but it's just on that list of things that like I don't think I can pull off. I feel like I look like a dork in like a chain.
Used to wear the log chain thing back in the day.
The log chain?
It's really big neck.
Oh, like the braided?
Because you have a real no, it's hard to explain. Because if you have a really big neck, it looks even
log chain.
That's what they called it in the 80s.
No, I'm just saying let me look that up. Let's see if anything comes up. Log chain.
We got to put in log chain necklace probably.
Well, it definitely came up in Google autofill. Okay, all right.
Big old links.
Yeah.
There is. I don't think it works in any other sport except for like tennis or baseball or pickleball, which I watched some the other night for some reason. Maybe it's because Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf were playing.
Andre Agassi.
And they beat Andy Roddick and somebody else. I forget.
I don't take joy in other people doing a bad job at doing their job, but it does make me feel better about it sometimes. About my doing a bad job most of the time.
Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Norfolk, Illinois.
From the Ingles Market Studio.
Your guide to the gridiron.
I have thrown out a challenge of sorts to you, dear listeners or internet viewers. I've thrown out a challenge to you, and that challenge is this. Explain to me, with the argument for the human element in baseball or football or basketball or whatever, explain to me what the human element is in a way that doesn't, at least to me, subjective, make it sound as if the human element is, I like bad calls because it makes the players adapt and adjust, because that's the only thing I've ever heard. I'm open to any of you changing my opinion, but so far, nobody has. Let's talk about what MLB is actually looking at doing here. According to MLB.com/news, if you want to go find the article and play along in the Rob Brown Show Home Edition, the ABS challenge system will be implemented to a degree in the grapefruit and cactus leagues this spring. The ABS, presented by T-Mobile, because we could sponsor any and everything, baby, will be in place for roughly 60% of spring training games as MLB uses the exhibition season to determine whether the system is suitable for the major league level. I'm going to be Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations Morgan Sword, which is a hell of a D&D character name, if we're being honest. Morgan Sword said, quote,
He's not a paladin.
No,
He's
that's a
more
ranger. That's a ranger.
He's a merc of some sort.
He said, quote, this is a pretty big decision for the game of baseball that we want to get everybody to weigh in on. Honestly, I'm good with that. For the record, as pro robo ump as I am, I also will go so far as to say, test it. This spring ball is the perfect opportunity to test it. Let's put it out there. Let's look at the results. As Lonzo said earlier, let's gather the data and let's get the opinions of the people who matter. Now, I, as a fan, like to think I matter. But here's the reality. If they go 100% robo-umps, if they go 0% robo-umps, or they go anywhere in between, I'm still going to watch the baseball. They're still going to get my money. In a tick over a month, I'm going to have a national damn holiday where I'm locked in for opening day and I'm watching baseball from 10 a.m. until beyond a reasonable and responsible time at night. And then I'm going to be real tired when I come in here the next day and I'm going to go, let's push the panic button on the Braves. It's open. It's day 2. Slam the red button. Spring training is a wonderful time to test all of this out. There are 13 spring training ballparks covering 19 home teams with shared facilities equipped with the technology. Now, that's a bit of a misnomer because this tech has actually been in a lot of minor league stadiums. There is I don't know if it's the exact tech that they'll use in the spring training games, but they have a very similar system at Ford Field right here in the GVL, where the Drive play. I've seen it in a game. I've stood in the press box and watched it work. It's incredible. And that's a minor league ballpark, and they've got it. According to MLB.com, every team will play games in which they have the opportunity to challenge ball strike calls that they feel the umpires may have gotten wrong. And though the system will not be in place for the 2025 regular season at the MLB level, successful implementation this spring could get the industry at large on board with the idea of bringing it to the big leagues in the not too distant future. Here's a real quick look at what this iteration of what the ABS, automated ball strikes system, looks like. According to Major League Baseball, What they will test this spring is a compromise between full ABS, which is where the balls and strikes call every pitch, and an updated ABS in which teams will have X amount of challenges of balls and strike calls. In the ABS challenge system, the human home plate umpire calls balls and strikes per usual, but Hawkeye technology running in the background, monitoring the exact location of the pitch relative to the batter strike zone, allows players to ask for a challenge of a ball or strike call they feel the umpire got wrong. Not only have I seen this technology, or at least some similar technology at Fluor Field, last year got the opportunity to go up to the Spire Motorsports HQ in Charlotte and got to take a garage tour. And they have this Hawkeye technology in their shop. They have set up in the back effectively like a shed, like an indoor shed. And this Hawkeye technology there are these black boxes. They're about the size of a large video game console. And they're in the corners and on the sides in the top and bottom of this shed. And what the NASCAR teams use it for is to measure their cars. They drive a car in there. It sets on a steel plate on the ground that measures the weight of the car, and it also makes sure that the car is at an exact measured level, because this Hawkeye technology measures down to the fractions of a millimeter. They showed me this. It was incredible. And one guy, one of the garage techs in there, said, let me show you how accurate this Hawkeye technology is. And he sets it up, and it shows the read on the car. And it'll tell you, you can look at any individual spot point on the car, and it'll tell you it's this much elevated off the ground, it's this far from any other spot, down to like a fraction of a millimeter. This guy walks to the back of the car, and he puts his hand on the car, and he does it like push. He just sets his hand on the car, right? Just sets it down. And all of the numbers on the Hawkeye tech change by a fraction of a millimeter. It is so accurate that the weight of just resting a human hand on a NASCAR stock car changed every measurement this thing took. It's unbelievable. That's how precise this thing can track. So can it get the width of the black rubber on the side of home plate, which is a strike, right? Yeah, it can. In the spring training ABS system, in ABS challenge games played, each team will start the game with 2 challenges apiece. The batter, the pitcher, or the catcher can challenge an umpire's call. No one else, not even the managers, may do so. Pitcher, batter, catcher can challenge a call. The challenge must be made immediately after the umpire's call without assistance from the dugout or other players. If the player wants to issue a challenge, whether it is the pitcher, catcher, or batter, they can tap their hat or their helmet to alert the umpire to challenge the call. The Hawkeye view will be shown on the video boards at games and to at-home viewers watching the broadcast. And it's like the tennis thing. It'll show you where it crossed the plate or didn't. In Major League experimentation thus far, in the test we've run so far, one challenge adds, on average, 17 seconds to a broadcast. So if all 4 challenges get used, I'm bad at math, but that adds up to be about a 2-minute addition to the game. Sorry, 1-minute addition to the game. I told you I was bad at math. A 1-minute addition to the game if all 4 challenges get utilized. Are successful challenges retained? Yes, they are. A team only loses the challenge if the umpire's call is confirmed. Because challenges can be lost, obviously, it becomes incumbent on the players, the players, the pitcher, the batter, the catcher, to make sure that they're not throwing away their challenges on calls that maybe, but it looked like it. Make sure it's right in a high leverage spot. There are no challenges, no extra challenges in extra innings. And Major League Baseball decided not to go with a full ABS, according to MLB, because minor league testing revealed, quote, a clear preference amongst fans, players, managers, and other personnel for the challenge system. The reason, in so many words, directly quoting from MLB, is that fans and baseball people still desire a human element of umpiring that involves feel for the game. In MILB games featuring full ABS, walks were more prevalent, causing games to drag on and countering the improvements in pace made by the pitch clock. Then throw more strikes. Just throw strikes.
All right. We have been sold a bill of goods by Rob Brown, who made it sound like the whole thing was going to be automated. You never led with the fact that this is going to be a challenge system, which is still, it's a dangerous thing to challenge and show that an umpire was wrong, because the most vindictive of all officials are baseball umpires. So when you challenge,
that's the first thing you've said today. We are definitely agreeing on.
When you're in the middle of a game and you challenge and you showed that guy was wrong in front of a large audience, once your challenges are gone, you're going to get a ton of bad calls. I think it's either all or nothing. The challenge system, I think, is going to lead to some problems.
I'll tell you what I want. Even if it's just for spring training, I'll tell you what I want. Even if we're only going to do a challenge system, 2 per team, catcher, pitcher, batter only. And then once you use your 2 and you get 2 wrong, you're out of them. No more in extra innings. No getting them back. If you get it right, you get to retain it, just like in football or whatever. You know what I'd like? While we do that, fine. If that's the way we want to test it, while we do that, even if we're not using it, just put it up on the screen anyway, right? Just put it up there anyway. Let's just see. Let's see what every pitch looks like. Let's see what it would look like if every pitch went through the Hawkeye technology, the Clint Barton method. Let's see. Just put it on the screen. I'm not saying you have to utilize it in the game. I'm not saying you change the calls. I'm not saying it umpires the game. I'm saying put it on the screen so that we can see it and make our decision. If the only time we get to see it is during challenges, then we as the fans aren't going to get an accurate representation of what it would be like if it was the umpire, if it was the behind the plate balls and strikes umpire. I'm not saying use it. I'm saying put it on the screen and let us see it.
You're right, because that would make the game so much better if the umpire looks up every couple of calls and sees that he's being humiliated by, the people up. And then suddenly he goes, okay, they're saying I'm just going to make bad calls the rest of the way.
Good. I hope that happens. Why do I hope that
happens? Because you want umpires fired. I don't understand why. You're so vindictive against this.
Not fired.
It doesn't make sense.
Not fired. I want them to be better at their job. If I came up with the technology
what if
today,
there aren't 5 guys in the entire world who can call a game without making a mistake?
Then let's be real clear. I'm not saying I want them fired. They can still stand back.
You want perfection where there is none.
No. Correct. You are correct.
You just want robot. You want the whole thing.
Accurate balls and strikes.
And they're not going to give it to you.
This isn't that hard.
You should be more angry about this than you are. The fact that they're not giving you exactly what you want.
I want accurate balls and strikes.
The dismissal of all umpires.
Nope. They can stand back there and they can go ball 2 or they can go strike 3.
Why would they do that when the robots are already making those calls? So they're basically signing it?
Keep the theatrics.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah,
okay.
Keep the theatrics. I'm good with the drama. Was it a ball or was it a strike? You don't have to pop a K on the stream. I can still have an umpire stand by. Strike 3! The theatrics, which are great, can still be there. But if it was a strike, it should be called a strike. And if it should be a ball, it should be called a ball. Not that umpire didn't get no loving from his wife last night and he's in a bad mood, so everything's a strike. That's not what I want. Or this umpire really dislikes that pitcher because one time that pitcher said something mean about his mama. So everything's a ball today. No, it's a ball or it's a strike, regardless of how I feel about it. All right, couple of texts real quick before we get to the sports flash. I'll run through these very, very quickly. Texter said, I've only ever heard the human element used in the situation where it means bad calls, but I think the human element may also mean the skill that the athletes have to put in, because I feel like football is a sport that only humans can participate in. Guys, yes. You know what the human element should be? Players playing, nothing else. It should be players playing. Did the player do enough to throw a strike? Did the player see the ball well enough to earn a ball? Did a player run far enough to get a first down? Did a defender tackle well enough to stop him? That's the human element. The guys playing the game, not the people with whistles, because it's a ball or it's a strike. He's safe or he's out. Nothing in the middle. Texas said the human element allows viewers and fans to be able to react good or bad to the third-party element other than the two teams playing. It allows us to interact and have a natural villain. Example, OMG, my team would have won if the refs would have called that. Scotty from B. Are you guys not tired of that? Lonzo was a Chiefs fan. You got to be friggin' exhausted of that.
No, I'm not tired of it because I know it's part of the game, and I don't want to see the game last longer. I don't want to. I mean, it was mentioned earlier. The Chiefs would hate it.
Every time,
and that's a false narrative and stupid.
Every time this season, the refs and Chiefs came up, you were like, "Why are we still doing this? I'm giving you a way out of that. Here's a way out of it."
First of all, football is a sport where they'll never be able to implement that in the way that they can in baseball. Tennis has done it flawlessly, it would appear. But I don't think they're going to do it in baseball. And obviously, they're just giving people like you a little bit of something, but they're not going to go to the whole thing. The challenge thing will last for a year, and it will go the way of challenging a pass interference call. It will slowly disappear. And you will remain angry about it, irrationally angry.
Why the NFL pass interference challenge go away?
By the way, you're also you were right about you being more demonstrative standing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
I got more gas.
Yeah, it's
more juice, more energy, more electricity, baby. Why the NFL pass interference challenge go away? Because the referees screwed up the thing designed to keep them from screwing up, and the NFL went, "Oh, well, obviously we can't fix it." Yes, you can.
You have proved that
you don't want to.
That there can be arrogant sign language.
Sports Flash.
All right, take that finger you're using and leave the room. South Carolina baseball team improved to, I couldn't see behind the screen, improved to 4-0 to open the season with a 5-3 road victory in Rock Hill over the Winthrop Eagles. Jarvis Evans went 3.1 innings with 5 hits, 5 Ks, and 3 earned runs before Brandon Stone entered for 3.2 innings, allowing just 1 hit, no runs, striking out 3, and earning the win. Andy Dalton will spend another year with the Carolina Panthers, signing a 2-year deal worth an estimated $8 million with 6 guaranteed and escalators that could increase the value to $10 million over the contract. Dalton was scheduled to become an unrestricted free agent, but made it clear he wanted to stick with the Panthers. Tune in tonight, 7 p.m. as Furman Paladins take on the Sanford Bulldogs. It's Furman versus Sanford right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. It's us. It's the Fan. It's the Upstate, where there are no robo-umps yet. Word.
Word to your mother.
You know, I would like to believe that secretly Diesel's a big Ice Ice Baby fan.
I'd almost say I'm comfortable guaranteeing you that he is.
Back in the day before the beer, doing the motions and all the stuff. Yeah.
Wearing Zubaz parachute pants. And all Chicago World Series will be fire. I would 100% go to the Windy City for that. Just to be. I don't even know if I could afford to go to a game. I'd just go be in Chicago for it. I'm sweating today, man.
Yeah, so am I. I'm not doing what you're doing. So this is warm in here. So we only have one guest today?
of going to Los Angeles. And the Rams could probably get him at a lower cost than it would be for Matthew Stafford. They get draft pick compensation back for Stafford. So you can see where the Rams would say, is that a more desired alternative? Again, number one alternative, re-sign Matthew Stafford. That to me is obvious. But if you can't, now we start to get the quarterback dominoes falling, the quarterback carousel turning, and Aaron Rodgers to me would come into play in a
I think he was told exactly when to slow down and do points of emphasis by the NFL owners. All right, here we want you to slow down when you're talking and say this way. Then speed back up and slow back down.
Order for Jennifer C. Is this like double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve? Yeah. But you need to handle that much caffeine? Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year? Oh, really? That's great.
I think I have to thank you because now that's in my head. Better than yesterday.
Don't thank me. Thank Chris. That was his choice. Mine would have been a little more upbeat, but
It's a good pick.
but you seem to like it. So,
I like it a lot.
So I
think it's perfect.
Since, as you pointed out, it took me hours to find that. You know, I had to hurry up and do my other work.
So much has been made about you guys going east. You just came back from a long East Coast trip. I'm wondering, have you seen anything from the team that have to come out here and stay out here? Is there any kind of balance with that in terms of the wear and tear? Just what you've seen on the court? No. Yeah. Is that a joke? Please tell me that. Is it even comparable? Huh? Have you ever looked at the NBA stats on the gamblers?
Oh, wow.
West versus East?
Spew!
Good luck, West.
Shut the hell up.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate entering hour number 2 of the radio broadcast. I am Rob Brown. The great one, Lonzo, is on the other side of the metaphorical glass this morning, and I can't take a break because I am recording the absolute meltdown that UCLA head coach Mick Cronin had at a press conference earlier this week when asked about Big Ten teams having to travel to Los Angeles versus his team, the UCLA Bruins, having to not do that. All right, I can't do it. I have to come back to it. Easy, Mick. Easy.
Can't wait for this wine fest.
Buddy, he kind of has a point. He kind of has a point. UCLA, buddy. I picked up yesterday how much I've been leaning on the word buddy the last week. I don't know where it came from. I don't know how it entered the Rob Brown lexicon.
Well, you lashed out in anger at me.
Yeah, but I don't know where that came from.
By using the word buddy, and it's when you say buddy, you're talking down to someone. You're like,
I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I'm saying I don't know where I picked up utilizing buddy as the thing for that. I've never looked at somebody before a week ago and went, listen up, buddy.
Well, obviously it's the first time you've ever used it because it triggered something for me.
The question is,
wait, did you just call me buddy?
Exactly. What I'm saying is, I don't know where that came from. I will say this. In the last 6 months or so, got real big into hockey. That's why I, specifically me, Rob Brown, is having so much fun with this Four Nations face-off because not only is it, and I mean this, sports at its finest. It's just sports at its best. Not only is it sports at its best, but it's great hockey. I mean, it's just great ice hockey.
So what's this have to do with buddy?
Hang on, I'm getting there. Let me get there. The answer is hockey, as many of you are learning. Hockey has its own lexicon, its own vocabulary, and it has its own accent. All right? Like, hockey has its own way of talking, right? Like, you say right at the end of everything, right? There's certain things. There's slappers, there's rippers, there's
Canadian.
Biscuits, there's apples.
You're just talking Canadian.
I mean, I don't know if it's Canadian. I don't know if it's just like Great and North. Like, I don't know if they talk this way up in Michigan or whatever.
They do. They absolutely do.
And by the way, Kyle Mountain, head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, going to join us here in about an hour and a half-ish or so. I will ask him this Because one thing that I picked up on is I've spent time for the past, 3 years in a row now. I work with the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. I've been their DJ in the arena. I am now their in-arena MC at Swamp Rabbit games. If you've never come to a hockey game, feel free, come on out. It's a blast. I love hockey. I genuinely believe hockey is the best sport to watch live and in person. I really believe that. I'm a big basketball guy, big football guy. I think hockey is the best sport to watch live and in person. And what I've learned is I've been around the team for 3 years. And I've worked with teams in the past, Pensacola Ice Flyers, Jacksonville Icemen. I did a couple of games with them when I lived down in the butthole of America, Jacksonville, Florida. In spending time with teams, and obviously I've spent more time with the Swamp Rabbits than anybody else, but being around the actual team, like the fellas that put on the pads and the blades and go out there and slap it around a little bit, is that even players that come from non-northern communities eventually pick up the accent and pick up the lexicon. Like they just all start to talk like hockey guys, right? They just all kind of get that thing where you kind of take the sentence up at the end, right? And they kind of start talking as if and it doesn't matter what they're talking about. They could be talking about the Chiefs, right? And it's just this hockey lexicon in this hockey way of talking. If you've never watched, say, Shoresy, which is a hilarious show by the guys who made Letterkenny, watch it, listen to him talk, Bud. And Bud and Buddy are real big in that. So I'm wondering if it's because of my increased hockey viewership that Buddy made its way into the lexicon. Buddy.
See, I don't think that's what it is. I think at your advanced age, that's the kind of things that older people would yell at younger people.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing.
How many days you got?
Literally a week.
Okay. All right.
A week from today.
All right.
I'm not disagreeing that I've become more and more of a curmudgeon as I am now on a 7-day countdown till I turn 40 damn years of age.
Is Courtney going to put AARP on your cake?
I honestly have no idea what she has planned. I just know I'm terrified of it.
You should be.
Yeah. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know her and I'm very afraid. I don't know where Buddy came from. I agree that I have become more of a curmudgeon, more of a get off my lawn guy, more of a back in my day guy. I'm not arguing with any of that. What I'm saying is, even as I've trended upwards in that element of my life, I don't know where I started dropping Buddy, but here we are.
Buddy?
You know where else we are? We're in the 7 o'clock segment. You know what that means? That means it is time for the Water Cooler Cheat Sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know when you get to the office and start talking sports. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you'll be talking about. The Water Cooler Cheat Sheet.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
Buddy?
before they take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go.
Welcome to the Water Cooler Cheat Sheet on the Fan Upstate.
Buddy? It's a great word. It's got like great
It's a condescending word.
it's got great adaptability
I
to
think
it.
I'd rather be called an expletive than buddy.
Listen here, you. Oh my. Listen here, you. I'll tell you what I think about you. You. Water Cooler Cheat Sheet, top 3 sports stories that you need to know this morning. Let's dive right in with item number 1. South Carolina Gamecocks opened up with a 3-game set, went undefeated 3-0. They had game number 4 last night on the road at the Winthrop Eagles. This one was up in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and the Gamecocks will hang on to that 0 in the L column, maybe a little closer than you would have liked. Winthrop's a pretty good little baseball team, like one of those little teams that you're like, I don't know, maybe there's a regional appearance in line somewhere for the Winthrop Eagles. Winthrop falls to 3-1. South Carolina moves to 4-0. Jarvis Evans got to start 3.1 innings, allowed 5 hits and 3 earned runs, did K5 through 3.1. He did hit 2 batters as well before he was relieved by Brandon Stone. Brandon Stone would get the W, going 3.2 innings with 1 hit allowed, 3 strikeouts, and no other numbers on the board. Parker Merlot, Brendan Sweeney would both come in for 1 inning of relief apiece. Sweeney gave up 1 hit, did K1 with 1 wild pitch and 1 hit batter, but no other numbers on the board for the Gamecock pitching staff. South Carolina opened up the scoring early. I'm not recovering from that easily. South Carolina opened up the scoring in the first inning when Kennedy Jones hit a moonshot to left field, a 2-run RBI that put the Gamecocks up by a pair. Winthrop got it back with a dinger in the bottom of the first with an RBI attached to it. That tied it up at 2 apiece. Winthrop would actually take a 3-2 lead in the 4th inning on a fielder's choice that resulted in a ribby. But in the 5th, in the 6th, LaCroix and Hall went yard to make it 4-3 and then 5-3. And that is where your score would finalize. The Gamecocks now 4-0. As mentioned in this one, they are getting set for another one this game tonight, back home, Founders Park in Columbia, when they host Queens. They will rock you. We'll see if South Carolina can bump that number up to 5-0. Let's get to item number 2. As we march to the end of the college basketball regular season, individual scores are going to become more and more important. They're going to become more and more important because obviously teams are beginning to polish up their resume for Selection Sunday. Kansas did the opposite of that last night. A team that was already having questions asked about it, as the Rock Chalk Jayhawks have now dropped 9 games. They are 6th place in the Big 12 and a full 6 games back of top Big 12 team Houston. The Rock Chalk Jayhawks have dropped 3 out of 4. They lost at Kansas State, and that's a plucky Kansas State team, a team that is playing better as the season progresses. They did beat Colorado 71-59, but then they turned around and lost on the road to a very middling Utah team last night, blown the bleep out by BYU, 91-57. Why am I bringing it up? Because it is tied for the worst loss for Bill Self as the head coach of the Jayhawks. It tied an NCAA tournament game where USC beat Kansas all the way back in Bill Self's first year with the Jayhawks. 2 Jayhawk players in double figures. Hunter Dickinson had 12 as a starter. David Colt had 11 off of the bench. Not another Jayhawk in double figures. They shot 37.5%, 28% from 3. On the flip side, they allowed BYU, an 18-8 team, and a pretty good team, probably going to be inside the top 25 in the next few days, to shoot 52% from the floor and 39% from behind the arc. Kansas also turned the ball over 15 times to just 10 takeaways in this contest. Kansas is not a bubble team. Kansas is going to the tournament, but by golly, they might be a double-digit seed. We're going to find out about that. Let's get to item number 3. Texter said, and I quote, "Really, Rob? Oh, no, we all heard it, okay? And we're just moving on. We're not addressing it, Texter. We're not addressing it."
You just addressed it. Could you please move on? Because I'm not, well, anyway, keep going.
The Carolina Panthers have re-signed veteran and backup quarterback Andy Dalton. Instrumental, they say, to the development of one Bryce Young. Tuesday, the Panthers rewarded him for building that relationship. The 37-year-old quarterback, who has been in the league since 2011 when he was drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals, has signed a 2-year contract worth $8 million, 6 of it guaranteed, with a max value. Escalators could get it up to $10 million over the next 2 years. Dalton was scheduled to become an unrestricted free agent next month, but made it clear after the season that his preference was to return to Carolina, stay in Charlotte, and continue to work with Bryce Young. BY said after the deal was closed, quote, "Me and Andy are super close. from when I first got here, just being able to talk to him through things, having him having perspective on a situation that I had never been a part of. I was always leaning on him, always having conversations. You can't add up the hours we spent together, and just being able to have someone that you can bounce stuff off of, ask how you see things, whether it's X's and O's or if it's a philosophical thing or stuff outside of football, somewhere nuanced in between. He is always there and just trying to help me out. Andy Dalton so far in his career, 39,500 passing yards, 253 touchdowns in 14 seasons, has been selected to 3 Pro Bowls last year for the Panthers when he did get his spot starts after the benching of BY early before he had the car accident that put him back on the bench. Dalton finished the season 1-4, 989 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, 6 picks, completed 66.3% of his pass attempts. Andy Dalton will return to the Carolina Panthers in the backup, but I'm here if you need me role for the silver and blue. I don't have an issue with it. From what I understand, the whole thing about his and BY relationship, it's legitimate. From what I understand, Andy Dalton has been an absolute asset to Bryce Young. He has been an absolute which makes sense, right? Andy Dalton came into the league to the Cincinnati Bengals at a point where the Cincinnati Bengals were, and I did the research on this last night, not good at football. Andy Dalton came into the league at a point in time where the Cincinnati Bengals were struggling to get anything going, and Andy Dalton was tasked with being the man, myth, the legend there for the Stripes. It didn't go well. And there are a lot of us, I am included in this, that believe that Andy Dalton, again, a 3-time Pro Bowler, Andy Dalton coulda, shoulda, woulda been a long-time, genuinely successful National Football League quarterback. But he spent so long toiling away in a bad franchise that by the time that it was time for it to be his time, he had effectively gotten ruined at that point, and there was no bounce back there. 39,500 yards last season threw for a 67% completion percentage. It's about as good as you can ask for. Did go 1-4, but the team sucked a lot at that point in the season. It was very obvious to anybody watching. I am perfectly fine with spending $8 million to have Andy Dalton back in the fold for 2 years while BY continues his upward trajectory as QB1 of the CAR. I'm here for it. I think it's a good decision by Carolina. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, we got a lot more we need to get into. This conversation about the All-Star game of the NBA and the NHL Four Nations face-off, it ain't gone anywhere. I said yesterday, I'm like, I don't know if we'll come back to this tomorrow or not because I don't know if the conversation is going to continue. It did. Rob Brown likes validation. Did you know that? I like when big, smart brain people say things on their shows after I said similar things on this show. One of them did it yesterday, a guy that I actually really like and have a lot of respect for. We're going to talk about that coming up next. I'm Rob Brown. He's the great one, Lonzo. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, quick live, and then I'm coming back, and I'm coming for you, Scotty from BMW. Stay right there, brother. All right, we're back. Thanks for hanging in there, people. You're all amazing.
An appliance and HVAC distribution company that's grown into an international brand. Before American
Which this is Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? Great movie. Don't care. Great movie. Scotty, let me go back and find your text so I can address it as appropriate.
AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform.
Where did it go? Where did it go?
Tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion,
Too
engagement.
far forward.
If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at repairclinic.com.
Okay, here it is.
World-class website for
I've only ever heard the human element used in the situation where it means bad calls, but I think the human element may also mean the skill that athletes have to put in, because I feel like football is a sport that only humans can participate in. LOL. The human element allows the viewer fan to be able to react to good or bad third-party elements other than the teams playing, allow us to interact and have a natural villain. Example, OMG, my team would have won if the rest would have called that call. Scotty from BMW. Scotty, you're right. You're right. The difference is that I don't want Team A to win or lose based on a third party. I think Team A should win or lose based on their athletic performance, and Team B should win or lose based on their athletic performance, and the outcome of the game should be determined based on the athletic performance of the competing entities, not whether or not the ref got the boom boom from the lady the night before, not whether or not the ref tied one on last night, it's a little hungover and is trying to get up out of there faster, so maybe that strike zone's an inch larger on both sides than it used to be. It's a strike or it's not. I don't want to come in here. I know it's almost counterintuitive for what we do, because the Chiefs refs thing was like segments upon segments of content this year. I don't like coming in here and having segments of the show eaten up by complaining about umps and refs. I don't. I want to talk about the Chiefs and the Bengals, or the Steelers and the Ravens, or I don't know why I'm so AFC North heavy, but you get the point.
Definitely our AFC.
I want to talk about the teams and the performance, nothing else. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Rob the Great One, Lonzo, and you. Yesterday, a big topic of conversation was the NBA's All-Star Game versus the NHL's Four Nations Face-Off. Now, the NBA got its behind whooped for the last 7 days on a week that was supposed to be very celebratory, a week that was supposed to be a big deal for the NBA, the All-Star Game, the best basketball players on the face of the planet, and now it is a global game. So on the face of the whole planet, we're talking Slovenia coming together in LA.
It's okay.
Play a game.
They're blaming LeBron. So
They're going to blame LeBron.
No, they are. They're blaming.
Oh, I know.
They're blaming LeBron.
They're blaming Ant Edwards.
It's all LeBron's fault.
You can blame whatever you want to blame. It is supposed to be a celebratory week of basketball, a week where basketball fans at large can put away the tribalism and love of their individual teams and can come together to just celebrate the game. And instead, hockey kicked its ass. And the reason why is very simple. Now, I gave you my reason yesterday that I think the Four Nations face-off waxed the NBA All-Star Game in terms of attention, talk time over the radio over the last 7 days, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The answer is the first 9 seconds of the Team USA Canada game on Saturday night, when not once, not twice, but thrice, boys from both sides dropped the gloves, squared up, haired up, and threw some punches, took some shots to the chicklets to defend their national flag and the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back. And I made a big deal out of it yesterday, and I thought to myself, I said, I don't know if I went too far. I don't know if I made sense or not. I did make some social media videos out of it, so I felt like we did a pretty good job. And then yesterday, I went home. I sat down at the kitchen table. I was doing a little work, having some leftover sketty and meatballs from the weekend. And I was listening to the Rich Eisen Show, which is available right here on the Fan Upstate from noon to 3 every single afternoon. I am a big Rich Eisen guy. I believe Lonzo's a big Rich Eisen guy.
I am, even though he, is pro-Michigan. But
sure.
Yes.
That's how much of a big Rich Eisen guy he is. He forgives his love of the maize and blue. All right? I was listening to Rich Eisen, and Rich Eisen had a very familiar take.
The NHL has figured it out. They've cracked the code. Saturday night, my phone starts buzzing like crazy. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's right. The NBA slam dunk, three-point stuff and all that stuff's going down. And nope, my phone is going crazy because Team USA and Team Canada in the Four Nations face-off is beating the crap out of each other. And, you know, I mean, all we ask for as sports fans when players play is that they care as much as we do. And who knew that the words face-off in the Four Nations face-off was them ripping each other's faces off. 3 fights in the first 9 seconds. Now, listen, we're not looking for, we're not bloodlusty here, right? We're not bloodthirsty.
Don't speak for
No,
yourself.
but you just want to see that it matters, that it's personal, that it means a lot to you. Certainly if it's a friendly or an exhibition, why should we watch if you don't care? And then the hockey that ensued was must-see television. Awesome. I will be watching Thursday night. I think this is a genius idea, and everyone else in professional North American sports should take note.
Good gosh. Where did we hear that before? Oh, that's right. That's exactly the take that I had a couple of hours before that. Now, I'm not saying Rich Eisen ripped off my work because he doesn't have to. Rich, a big sports guy. Rich, a good sports guy. That's why I like Rich Eisen a lot. What I'm saying is the fact that Rich Eisen and I, who, by the way, he's in the group text too. The fact that Rich Eisen and I landed on the same spot without checking the daily, here's what your opinion is today, Rob, emails that we all get here in the lamestream media, of which I'm obviously a member. It's not that it validated me. I don't dislike that. I don't dislike that one of the most respected talking heads in the game said almost verbatim exactly what I said 3 hours before he said it. I do like the validation. I don't need it. I felt real good about my take. What I like is that this jumped off the page to as many people as it did. I just want the boys to care. I just want the boys to go out there and treat it as if it matters to them. I'm not saying that I need the fellas in the NBA to turn the circle in the middle of the court into a UFC ring and start beating the crap out of each other. That ain't basketball. That's 100% part of hockey culture. It's not part of the basketball culture. I don't need that. I do want to see that they want to win. I'm not asking them to go out there.
Draymond will put his mic down for that.
Oh, for sure. Draymond's the only one that I believe would actually try to hit like an RKO out of nowhere, legitimately. I'm not asking them to go out there and beat the crap out of each other and knock teeth out. I'm just asking, show me that you want to win this game. That's it. Just show me that you want to win this game. That's all I'm looking for. And 100% got that out of the Four Nations face-off. But why, you might ask? Yesterday, bit of a long clip here, longer than I usually play, but everything he says from this start of this clip to the end of this clip resonated with me as somebody who is not a lifelong hockey guy. I've been around the game since like high school. I didn't really start to consider myself a big hockey guy till about 2015, so about 10 years or so. But in that 10 years, I have grown to love this game. I've grown to love the culture of this game. I have grown to love the intricacies of this game. PK Subban is a Canadian retired defenseman who played like a lot of years in the NHL, was drafted in 2007 to the Montreal Canadiens, played to 2022, spent time with the Canadiens, with the Predators, and with the New Jersey Devils. He went on ESPN yesterday. ESPN, one of my biggest complaints, never gives hockey time, never gives NHL time. Despite the fact that they are a partner with the league, you just don't get hockey on the big stick because they are all in on the give attention to what gets attention philosophy. That's why you got screaming heads debating everything and not just coverage of sports. But they did something they don't ordinarily do. Not only did they bring a hockey guy on one of their big talking head debate shows, but they like gave him time to talk about this. And here's what PK had to say.
Hockey's a different sport from the NBA. You can't compare the cultures because of the way the game is played. You can step on an NBA floor and go through the emotions. You can't do that in hockey. You can't. Like the culture of our sport, you have to play it with passion. You have to be willing to fight. You have to be willing to leave it on the ice. That's what fans are investing in. So for us, when we charge $1,500 for a ticket to come to Fortnite, fans know what they're getting. Cale Makar, the best defenseman in the world, wasn't in the lineup for this game. This was the most viewed game that we've had in years. And you see it, it's not just based on the skill and talent. It's based on the pride, honor, playing for the guy next to you. I got a question for the NBA players. What the hell are you playing for? What are you playing for? It's not about the money. You make all the money. What, you're injured? Well, there's a difference between being hurt and injured. Are you hurt or are you injured? There's a difference. In hockey, we play hurt. We play injured. That is the culture of the sport. It's always been that way. So you want to talk about the business, the CBA, fans get all of that. But what do fans resonate with? They resonate with what's real. You got to fight sometimes for your country. You got to compete. You got to go out there and leave it on the ice because those people are paying the price of admission. So fans know whether our stars are on the ice or not, they're getting their money's worth. The NBA has that issue that they got to work on. You got to create a better culture for your players. It starts with the leaders. This issue, there was no issue when Jordan was around. There was no issue when Kobe was around. There's no issue when Sidney Crosby's around. There's no issue when Wayne Gretzky was around because those are true leaders. They lead by example. Sidney Crosby, Hockey Canada, those players, both Canada and U.S., it was the players that did that for the Four Nations. That's not the league. The league set it up, but the players went out there and decided and said, you know what, boys? We're all in. When is the NBA going to do that?
Thank you. I no notes. 10 of 10, 5 stars, 2 thumbs up, A+, no notes. That's the take. That was all I was saying yesterday. He just said it way more hockey-ish. Until the players learn to care, why do I care? Again, I'm not saying that I need the All-Star game to be the single greatest basketball game I watch in a given year. Kobe Bryant described the All-Star game, or at least what the All-Star game is in an ideal world, as the greatest pickup game to ever be played. And it should be better every year. The greatest pickup game to ever be played. You got the best basketball players on the face of the planet from all around the globe. The best basketball players on the face of the planet coming together to play effectively a pickup game. It should be remarkable. But you tune in and it's I got LeBron James. And for the record, you guys know this, I'm a big LeBron guy. I love LeBron James. LeBron James dropping out of the All-Star game 30 minutes before he started it when he knew his ankle was jacked and he wanted to rest it. I'm disappointed in LeBron James. I am. Because that spot could have gone to somebody who, and for the record, because we kind of started getting down to the fringe all-stars, right? That spot could have gone to somebody who has a great season, was having a great season, could have had the opportunity to play, and maybe would have played hard. Ant-Man Edwards competing in every single aspect of All-Star Game Weekend. He was there for the skills competition. He watched the dunk contest. He was there at all the events and all that. 30 minutes before the All-Star game starts, I got a flu. I got a cold. I got the coughs. Buddy, you knew you weren't going to play. So say that early. Get out of the way. Ant-Man, and here's the reason I come down a little bit harder. It's fair. Here's the reason I come down a little harder on Anthony Edwards, because Anthony Edwards has said with his full chest into the microphone, I don't want to be the face of the NBA. They've asked him, do you feel like you can take the mantle from Braun as the face of the NBA? And he has straight up said, I don't want that. I just want to be the best basketball player I can be. I don't want to be the face of the league. Okay. And I'm good with that. I don't mind that. But if you don't want that responsibility, then get out of the way and let somebody else have the spot that will. PK Subban and Rich Eisen both echoed exactly what I had said yesterday morning a couple of hours before they did. The guys in the NHL, by dropping gloves and absolutely getting after it, by putting on 3 very good hockey games for Team USA specifically, made it look as if they don't just care, they give a damn about this tournament, about winning this tournament. And as Rich said, and as I said yesterday, I just want to know you care. I just want to know you care. I just want to know you want to win. I want to know that you feel about the thing that I want to love as much as I want to love it. You show me that, I'm all in. You don't, I'm right back out. like we are of this segment on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Gunta. All right, guys, step away for just a minute to record some music. We'll be right back. Not music. Sound. Quotes. Sports stuff. Be right back. It's created a world where sometimes they get lost. Texas said, Rob, there's an entire generation of people that will never watch the NBA again because of players like load management LeBron, me being one of them. The NBA needs a Caitlin Clark. Maybe it's Cooper Flag. I don't know. All right. I'll have this conversation. I haven't planned on it, but here we are.
WNBA playing again yet?
A couple of their draft is like 3 weeks after the end of the women's March tournament, and then they start their season like 2 weeks after that. So like 3 months away, 2.5 months away.
The hype really died. I'm curious to see. If
I don't think it has at all.
Yeah.
I don't think it is at all. I think it's just off season. It's off season.
Okay.
Right. It's like same as we're not. I mean, we got NBA talk or NFL talk right now, but we're not like heavy on it because it's off season. I think as soon as the W tips back off, it's gonna fire right back up, especially the first time Double C goes out there and puts up a 40 burger on somebody.
We'll see.
Yes, we will. All right, let's talk about this NBA text from unidentified texter. On our text line at 844-326-3663, you can text the radio show as well. 844-326-3663. That is the same number to text and to call in and get on the air. There is an entire generation of people that will never watch the NBA again because of players like load management LeBron, me being one of them. The NBA needs a Caitlin Clark. Maybe it's Cooper Flag IDK, says a texter on the text line.
Okay,
Couple of thoughts.
what generation is that that will never watch it again? I'm just curious.
The real answer is the older generation.
The generation was not identified, so it can't be the newer generation because they don't know that player is not playing like they should be to them when they're watching. Oh, that's how things are done. So, I mean, I don't. How old are you, texter?
I think we all, when it comes to the NBA, I don't know if there's other sports we do this with. I think with the NBA, we have all kind of agreed to identify generations, air quoting this, by the player that was considered the best of it. I think the last generation was the LeBron generation. The generation before that was the Kobe generation. The generation before that was the Michael generation. The generation before that was the Magic, maybe Bird generation. You know, you can go back to the Kareem generation, maybe the Big O Oscar Robertson. He's going to be in the Audio Blitz. Can't wait for that. Maybe the Big O generation. I think we've accepted in basketball terms that we accept generations based on the player that was the GOAT, the defining player of that generation. Texter wrote back and said, "It's me, Will, and I'm 45 years old, and I can't watch it anymore. It's sad to watch." All right, Will, you're 45. You're a little bit older than me. I'm going to assume, correct me if I'm wrong, you've got the text line fired up, and I like it. Welcome to the Armada. I'm going to assume that you're a Jordan guy at 45 years of age. I love LeBron. I loved Kobe. I'm a Jordan kid. My NBA fandom developed when his airness was throwing down three-peats in Chi-Town, right? And what I will not argue is somebody who still loves and watches the NBA to this day. What I will not argue is that basketball was a much different and much more physical version of the game back then. And I'm willing to say there are elements of the game today that I don't like. I don't like that we don't call travels. That's a problem to me. Because I do think if you want to soften up the game to allow the Kevin Durant's and the Steph Curry's to thrive within it, I can understand it to some degree. And let's not sit here and pretend like basketball is the only sport that has modified itself in order to allow its offensive superstars to shine. The NFL's done it too. Major League Baseball's done it too. That's just the result of us as American sports fans. And this is what I've said for a very long time. If you watch sports for touchdowns and dunks and home runs, you don't like sports. You just like success, which is fine. All right. To each their own. It's subjective. To me, this is why I'm a soccer guy, because the beauty of the game is in the game, not the result. The results are fun. The results are how we monitor that. But the beauty of the game, when I watch football, I get more jacked up and juiced up about a well-done left guard pull end around an ISO off tackle than I do about an 80-yard touchdown pass. Because there are, on that play, 9 guys directly involved on the offense and 8 or 9 guys directly involved on the defense, and all of them have to do their individual jobs. I get as excited about a wonderful game from a left guard as I do a wide receiver going off for 225 and 3 touchdowns. The beauty of the game is in the playing of the game, not the result. If you only look at the result of the game, why do you watch? Why do you watch? Why do you watch a football game if the only thing you care about is touchdowns, right? But that is what we as Americans have shown these leagues that we like. Why do we monitor? Why do we modify the rules to allow Mahomes and Brady and all these quarterbacks to set these quarterback records every year? Because that's, as Americans, what we've shown we've watched. And we know that because the year that Tom Brady had his ACL popped in week 1 and he was out, viewership in the NFL tanked immediately as a result of it, directly correlated to that. That we've shown that's what we like. So the NBA recognized that and they said, okay, We like to see guys go off for 45, 50, 55, 60 points a game. So let's modify the game so that there's more of that and less of that hard-nosed, old-school 1970s, 80s, 90s, hand-check, hard physical defense. That's a result of us. Now, you may be with me and the minority of people that go, nah, I really want travels to be called. That's kind of the rules of the game. I watched, it was Ant-Man Edwards in a game a couple of weeks ago. Gets a pass on the wing, dribble drives, hits a jump stop just outside of the block. Hits a step back. All right, fine. You're still within the rules of the game. Hits a step back. The defender elevates, jumps. Ant-Man then takes his back foot, steps around him, takes a second step, goes up, lays it up, no call. Jump stop with both feet, 1-2 around him. I'd call it a Euro step, but as far as I'm concerned, Ant-Man should have had a passport for how far he traveled in that. No call. I was furious, okay? So I am fine with the concept of we need to enforce the rules of basketball to make basketball what basketball is supposed to be. But this whole concept of it's unwatchable now, I don't agree with that. I don't. Has the game changed? Yeah. Has it gotten worse? I don't think so. I honestly think I'm not going to get into this debate because I could do a 4-hour debate on this. All these people that go, LeBron couldn't play in the 90s NBA. Bull crap. Not only could LeBron play in the 90s NBA, he'd go for 40 a game. He's 6'15". He's built like a brick bleep house. And at 40 years of age, he's still putting up 32 points. And now he's getting like 12 assists per game. Bull crap, he couldn't play in the 90s. He just doesn't have to play that game. That's on the NBA. That's not on the boys. The concept of load management. Will called him load management LeBron. I respect that. Here's the thing. It has been shown. And this is more true for older players than it is for younger players. But it has been shown that load management, especially in a day and age where the NBA has decided that doubleheaders, that back-to-backs are not just a thing, but like a regular thing in the NBA. It has been shown that older players on load management have less injury games when they participate in load management. So do you want to get mad because LeBron doesn't play back-to-backs and he sits out one every 7-8 games? Or, especially if you're the NBA and you're responsible to answering to your advertising partners, do you want LeBron going out for 2 weeks because he banged up his ankle, he didn't have time to rest it, and he's missing time? Now, I'm not saying that's true for the 23, 24-year-old guys, the new guys in the league. I'm saying it's true for the older guys. That's just numbers. And again, that's up to you. And I get it. Kobe would go out there and have a separated shoulder and go, I got another shoulder, which is a thing he did, for the record. Tore his rotator cuff, was told you come out of the game. And Kobe said, no, I got another shoulder. I can still play. I'll shoot left-handed. And did. Yeah, I'll say that's worth admiring. That's worth telling stories about. Sure thing. But not everybody's Kobe. That's why we celebrate Kobe. I've made that point on this radio show 100 times, right? The reason we celebrate guys like Kobe, celebrate guys like Michael, is because they're one in a million. You can't ask everybody to have the Mamba mentality. Here's the question, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound some kind of way, and I'm good with that. But for those of you that write in and you go, LeBron ain't Kobe, I don't disagree. Let me ask you a question. Are you? Do you have that mentality? Do you attack your job like that? Do you go in an hour and a half before the boss says you need to be there? Do you stay for an hour and a half after the boss says you need to be there? Do you pick up extra assignments when your coworker's off? Do you do their job and yours? When you get the flu, do you show up to work and grind away anyway? Here's the reality. All the people that call on LeBron to have the Mamba mentality, you don't either. That's why we celebrate those people. That's why we celebrate them, because they're so rare. Like, I don't think I'm calling out anybody specifically. And if you feel like you're being called out, it's because you don't have the Mamba mentality. I'm going to keep it a buck. I think I work my ass off. I do. I'm up here at 4:30 in the morning, 4:40 in the morning every morning. I'm out of here at 11 to noon in the afternoon. I don't take a lunch break. Then I go home. I eat a quick lunch. Then I set up my laptop in the studio. I get to work again. I host the show on Saturdays. I go work Swamp Rabbit games 2-3 times a week. I do all this stuff. I work my butt off. And I don't have a mama mentality because sometimes I go, God, I feel like crap today. I'm not going to work. I stood up for a 4-hour show yesterday. My gluteus maximus hurts. I'm sitting down today. That's not true. I'm standing up today. Mama mentality, baby. We celebrate those people. But the game has changed away from the old physical 90s NBA. If you want to make the argument we should go back to that kind of basketball, that's all well and good. But I challenge you, genuinely, I challenge you. Go to YouTube, go to whatever archive sports site you watch, and go back and watch 90s basketball that ain't the Bulls. Go back and watch 90s, seriously, go back and watch the 1990s Spurs. Go back and watch the 1990s Clippers. Go back and watch the 1990s Bullets. Go back and watch every now and then you got a team that's got Akeem Olajuwon and Clyde the Glide down in Houston. Every now and then you got a Sean Kemp and a Detlef Schrempf in Seattle. But like most of the teams would get run out of the gym by an average NBA team today. The basketball, in my opinion, it was more physical, but it wasn't better. It was more physical, but it wasn't more entertaining. It was better, but it does not have the caliber of superstar talent that we have in the NBA today. If you are not watching it because you go, it ain't the 90s, that's great. But I want you to really think about it, about the teams, the fond memories you have of the 90s, Will. You had Jordan. And don't get me wrong, I'm a Jordan guy too. I own 2 NBA jerseys right now. Michael Jordan's red 23 from Chicago, Dirk Nowitzki's gray 41 from the Mavs. Those are the only 2 NBA jerseys I own right now. This is true, I own more animated cartoon basketball jerseys than I own NBA jerseys. I'm a Jordan guy too. We reminisce about the best of the 90s. We reminisce about Jordan and Akeem and early Shaq and Sean Kemp and Gary Payton. Go back and watch 90s basketball. That doesn't involve those guys. Go watch middle of the pack NBA basketball. It's not as good. It's not as fast. It's not as entertaining. It's not as fun. It's just not. Yes, call the travels. Yes, call the fouls. Yes, let's officiate the game the way the rules of the game say it's meant to be officiated. I'm on board with you there. But this whole concept of, I can't watch it because LeBron low manages. Go watch mid-90s basketball and watch mid basketball from the mid-90s. And for a second, tell me it's better than the 2025 NBA. Please. Do it, Will, and come back tomorrow.
They will tell you that. And because people who are stuck on there is a mentality as far as it was better back then, today is horrible. There is no progression. My guys then are better than your guys now. It's just, I think it's going to continue throughout time. And people who are big time LeBron guys are going to be saying this to whoever the next guy is. That's just how it works.
Again, I will also acknowledge it is subjective. There are some of you that may watch the 90s basketball and watch mid-90s basketball, watch middle of the pack basketball and go, dude, this is better. That's your subjective opinion. I'm not gonna say your subjective opinion is wrong. I'm gonna tell you, for my 2 cents, mid basketball in the 90s doesn't touch mid basketball in 2025. The athletes are better. The game is faster. The game's played above the rim. Guys are shooting from the logo at the same clip that guys used to shoot from inside the 3.
When you're talking about that, I'm picturing all those guys in the 90s who want to play defense all beneath the basket, when even the center from today will pull up at the 3 and nail a 3.
Yeah,
well, all those
guys
guys are under there
Nikola
waiting.
Jokic around at the block and watch my man go out there and put down 11 threes. And here's the thing: you complain about 7-footers shooting the 3, but if Nikola Jokic is going to knock down 45% from behind the arc uncontested, shoot away, Big Daddy, shoot away. I'm all in. Texter said, real quick before we go to a break, try to figure out why I had to turn my headphones down a notch yesterday and today listening to the show. Then science informed me why. Standing allows for better breath support and more efficient airflow, resulting in a greater vocal projection and volume. A slouched posture while sitting can restrict breathing and reduce vocal clarity. Rob, for the well-being of the Armada, sit down. We could lose an eardrum. I got to tell you, I said this yesterday. I say it today. Like, I feel more energetic standing up, dude. I feel like the show's been better the last 2 days. Getting a new vibe here on the Rob Brown Show. Same vibe is the great vibe, a man who brings the Mamba mentality, the Kobe mindset to every sports flash, Lonzo.
I don't, because I never liked Kobe and never will. But one thing I will say, they're right about your projection. It's been different having to produce while you're stepping away from the microphone. South Carolina baseball team improved to 4-0 to open the season with a 5-3 road victory in Rock Hill over the Winthrop Eagles. Jarvis Evans went 3.1 innings with 5 hits, 5 Ks, and 3 earned runs before Brandon Stone entered for 3.2 innings, allowing just 1 hit, no runs, striking out 3, and earning the win. In the latest women's top 25 poll, AP poll rather, Notre Dame is first, followed by Texas at 2, UCLA comes in at 3, Southern Cal at 4, UConn at 5, South Carolina checks in at 6, LSU at 7, The Ohio State University at 8, North Carolina at 9, and TCU rounds out the top 10. Tune in tonight, 7 p.m. for the Furman Paladins as they take on the Sanford Bulldogs. Held that cough off the entire time.
QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today. Call QC Kinetics. 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772.
Hey, Rob. Rob.
Hi, Lonzo.
Hey, Rob.
Hi, Lonzo.
Are those snow clouds out there?
I don't maybe. Are those clouds or is the sky just gray and sad? I don't know.
Well, anytime there's snow, the sky is gray and sad. Now, according to the weather app, precipitation at 1 p.m. There was no mass panic around here, so I'd be surprised if we get anything. North Carolina's supposed to get a bunch of. Not a milk guy, so I don't care.
I used to be, and then I just kind of stopped. No real like reason for it.
Discovered I have a slight lactose intolerance. Which is why when my, roommates in college would go on that midnight run for hot for a hot and ready donuts, not at Krispy Kreme, but at like the local donut shop.
Krispy Kreme and milk's undefeated.
Yeah, that's not true. It's donuts in general. I'm not a brand guy. I mean, just not. especially after midnight when they bring in a hot glazed, stick it in your face, hot glazed donut with a quart of chocolate milk. And then my stomach hurt afterwards. I never understood why. I always thought it was a donut, but apparently it was the milk. So why are all the TV shows still talking about football, Rob? Why aren't we doing
It's
that?
still America's #1 sport. Got to give the people what they want. Here we go into our number 3 of the Rob Brown Show. Yeah.
So you look like Joe Cocker there for a second. That was weird. I know it's an old reference, but it's okay.
But it
Good.
checks out.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it, but it checks out. Starting the 8 o'clock hour, this is where we do the audio blitz. And today, we do the audio blitz. Why do we do the audio blitz? Because I'm stacked up, because we couldn't do it yesterday because my pooter broke. My pooter's working again. It's good to have a working pooter. My pooter's working.
It's a little up there. It's just
My little Leapfrog laptop.
yeah.
I got to tell you, it's kind of grown on me a little bit.
It's a little precarious how you've got it set up. It's a little side heavy, so I'm waiting for. I guess the cord is probably holding it up there.
Feeling pretty good about it, honestly. Got my little laptop stand. Get my calories burned in the AMs now.
How old
I
is
checked in
that?
yesterday.
How old is that
I
laptop?
dropped a pound and a half yesterday.
Good for
Just
you.
yesterday.
How old is that laptop stand? I mean, that thing.
Oh, I've had this for you. I used to back when I did wedding DJing. This was my
Oh,
setup.
okay.
I put my little turntables underneath it.
Because it's well worn.
Oh, for sure. Serves its purpose well. Audio Blitz, top audio that we have picked up over the past however long it's been since the last time we did this. In this case, it's been a while, which means not only will we likely do an extended Audio Blitz today, it also means that we'll probably do another one tomorrow because I got a lot to clean up. Four Nations face-off. I'm not talking hockey here. Stick with me. We talked about it yesterday. Lonzo pointed out that perchance, just maybe, one of the catalysts for Team USA hockey wanting to throw the gloves and then throw fist at Team Canada was the fact that the dozen or so boys wearing the stars and stripes on the chest had to listen to a gym full of Canucks booing our national anthem before the game started. Now, keeping it a buck with you, we all know why. Doesn't matter. When there's 60 minutes of ice hockey to be played, we're all gosh darn Yankees is what we are, okay? Taylor Lewin, former offensive lineman, runs a podcast called Bussin' with the Boys. If you're not watching the Four Nations Face-Off, when Team USA scores a goal in this competition, great one, they have a victory song. Every team's got a goal song that they play, right? Every team's got a goal song they play. The Bruins play Shipping Up to Boston by Dropkick Murphys, et cetera, et cetera. Every team's got their goal song. Team USA's got a goal song. When Team USA rips a slapper into the net, they play the electric guitar solo from Leonard Skinner's Freebird. It's fantastic. A couple of Thursdays ago when we had game number 1, first time the Americans put a puck into the back of the net and they started ripping the 14-minute guitar solo from perhaps Leonard Skinner's finest work. I came unglued. I came off the couch. It was like it was like your favorite wrestler coming back in the Royal Rumble. Just popped off the couch. Well, Taylor had an idea on how to improve the United States national anthem.
Should we add the guitar solo to Freebird to the national anthem? I think that's I feel like it's a clear yes. I feel like if you just get to and the home of the that starts just going, and then they end with Brave. I feel like we can get petition signed for that. A 12-minute national anthem. If you are standing on the sideline of a football, you're watching, hand over heart, hat off, listening to a guitar solo, and then a B-52 bomber comes over the top in the heat, the peak even of that guitar solo. You want to end people not being patriotic? Go ahead and do that, buddy. We might have just done
There
it on
was.
Busting with the Boys. Anybody
There
here say
was.
nay to that?
There was.
Does anybody say nay?
I was
Does
also
anybody know-
really excited when he dropped the buddy because I was like, good. I'm not alone. It's me and Taylor. For the record, I've said this about our national anthem in the past. It's like every time somebody performs their own spin on the anthem, like half of America really likes it, and half of America goes, oh, sing it the way it's meant to be sung. Sing it the way it's written. I'm big on, I like variance in the anthem. I like hearing it performed in different ways. America is a melting pot of different cultures. We are all different. There are 330 whatever plus million people who come from different places and cultures and walks of life. And the beauty of America is that we blend it to create this melting pot that theoretically we should all share together. And so to allow people to take their culture and their voice and lend it to a song that is meant to represent all of us, I think is a wonderful representation of what this country is. A million different cultures and backgrounds all blended together to create this thing we call the U.S. And so to have different voices and cultures perform the anthem in a way that reflects their contributions to our collective culture, I think it's great. And one of those things is Freebird, baby.
Yeah, this is it's not a good take by Taylor Lewan. If you want to use a guitar, use what Chris Stapleton did. Go back and use what Jimi Hendrix did. You don't need to change the anthem. Just let the guitar play.
So change it.
The
Add
anthem.
to it. And I'm here for that. All right. Speaking of all-star games, we talked yesterday about obviously how the NHL has found the secret sauce of making an all-star game good. You find a way to make the players care about it. It's going to be tough for the NBA to do that, but I did come up with, I didn't come up with, a lot of people came up with one suggestion, which is, what if we went Team USA versus the world? Allow the boys from the United States to put on the stars and stripes, allow the rest of the world to say, hey, it's our game. It's a global game now. Let's let them play. Somebody said, well, Rob, why would that fire him up? And my answer was, go back to last year's Olympics. Go back to last year when LeBron James looked like he was 26 again. Go back to last year when Steph Curry was putting people to sleep and America lost its mind over it. Go back to that. Kevin Durant was on that team. Kevin Durant had this to say about his inclusion in the Olympics.
I can tell how much he means to you, man.
No, for sure. For sure. Because it's like, I come from neighborhoods where people don't even talk to each other. Like, so much hate in the world, too. Like, when people get to start laughing and joking for the game of ball, like, it's cool to me. So, like, it get me emotional, dog. My bad. Because it's crazy to see. Because, like, it's crazy to see somebody say they travel so long to come see their favorite player play in the Olympics. They spend their money. They bring their whole family. Like, it's just dope to me. The game just saved my life, so it brought me and my family out of a lot of bullshit. So I'm just like grateful for it. For real.
Now take that and give players a reason to feel that in a game.
Don't make me like Kevin Durant. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? There's a lot of people out there upset with you right now because of that.
I want you to know I'm laughing because I had the exact same reaction. I had the exact same reaction. I'm like, I want to make more burner phone jokes.
Yeah, Kevin Durant's got me over here about ready to cry. And I'm like, I don't like him. Why are you doing this to me?
I want to make more jokes about Kevin Durant trolling himself on Twitter to get an emotional reaction. Instead, I got my man saying being on the Olympic team was the greatest thing. My man's starting to cry about it because he said basketball saved me and my family from a lot of bull and dragged me out of that. And so to represent the country that gave me the opportunity to get my family out of that bull by playing basketball and to be able to generate this national conversation. Because, 2024 was 10 years ago. And I don't know how many of you remember last year's Summer Olympics, but the run up to Team USA winning a gold was fun. It was fun. And they were playing real basketball, playing FIBA rules, shorter quarters, sure, but like They were calling traveling. They were calling double dribbles. They were calling fouls. They were calling charges and blocks. It was good basketball, and the boys were locked in to winning the damn thing. And we were all locked into having fun watching them do it. That's what if you can figure out a way to translate that to everything, the NBA's ratings problem is solved like immediately.
See, but I don't know. I think that takes away from the Olympics if you make it USA versus the world in the All-Star game.
I can see that. Actually, I had that conversation with somebody yesterday. I can see that. Here's the thing. The Olympics are once every 4 years. And on top of that, when we play the Olympics, the rest of the world is not playing as the rest of the world. They're playing as France and Spain and Portugal and Germany and not Russia. They're playing as whatever they are. So I think in the Olympics, like in the NBA, Team the Globe, they're not playing for France, Germany, Spain, Italy, whatever. They're playing for showing America that basketball is now a global game versus Team USA, who's playing to show that it's still our game. To me, it doesn't feel that way. And even if it did, the Olympics are still once every 4 years. I don't think the weight of that comes down, at least to me. It's subjective. Tyler Reddick is a driver for NASCAR, so is Kyle Busch. This was being recorded before the Daytona 500. Tyler Reddick was doing a 2311 Insiders podcast when Kyle Busch showed up to bomb that podcast.
I was just told I don't have any time to kill, so.
Well, so you're gonna
Here.
hand off to Kyle.
Oh, really? Yeah? More good stuff?
Here you go, bud.
Thanks. I need 9s. That's too low.
Then double up.
Perfect.
Are you a
All right.
Zyn distributor? Look at you.
That's right.
Zyn and alcohol? Oh my gosh.
We are Vice Central.
Oh my gosh, look
man.
at this.
Yeah.
We're getting
Number
alcohol
100.
and Zyn.
Thank you. I'll take that too, Jeff. Thank you.
Oh, you're
Thank you.
taking
Yeah.
all of it?
Yeah, I'm taking. You can.
Or zoned, I mean.
Yeah, have that with your Diet Coke. What about, you guys got some parlays for this afternoon on BetMGM or what?
For this afternoon on qualifying?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, no. I already lost all my money on the Super Bowl, dude.
That's my
On the
guess.
Super Bowl?
I lost all
Oh,
of
you
it.
bet red?
I emptied my account on the Super Bowl.
Man, no way to go. No way to
No,
go.
I didn't think it. I thought even
You thought
if it
the
was
refs were going to be on their side, huh?
Well, I thought it would be a close game.
So if you're trying to figure out what was happening there, let me break
Sounds
that down
like
for you.
drugs were being passed around at some point.
Break that down for you.
Is Zen some sort of drug?
I'm about to break that down for you.
Okay, because
Tyler Reddick was finishing up his interview. Kyle Busch showed up. Kyle Busch didn't just show up empty-handed. First off, Kyle Busch handed Tyler Reddick a pack full of Zyn. Zyn is effectively these little packs that have replaced chewing tobacco. They're nicotine pouches you put under your lip like you're doing a dip. They've gotten real big. They are to the up-and-coming generation what like vapes were to the last generation and cigarettes were to every generation before that, and chewing tobacco was to my great-grandpappy back when he used to have a jug sitting out front in the living room. Ding! Kyle Busch showed up distributing Zyn packs. Tyler Reddick said, hey, the level of Zyn that you have in this Zyn pack is not high enough for me. Kyle Busch looked him dead in the face and said, well, then double up. You wuss, double up. Then he turns over to the podcast host and he pulls out of his fire suit, I don't know where because they don't have pockets, starts pulling little mini bottles of whiskey and handing them off. He's like, here you go. Put that in your Diet Coke and enjoy your day. Then, after he's done distributing like the whiskey fairy, little mini bottles of booze to everybody involved, then he straight up sits down, grabs the mic and looks and goes, hey, you guys got any parlays to lock down on BetMGM today? You guys got any parlays on Daytona qualifying? Not the race, not the 500, not the NBA All-Star game, not the NHL. No. You got any parlays you're laying down on NASCAR Daytona qualifying? I already liked Kyle Busch. I got a Kyle Busch autograph hanging in the office right now. I've been a Rowdy fan for a long time, mainly because Rowdy's the dude that goes out there and ticks off the fans of every other driver by just being him.
are you allowed to bet on your own sport in NASCAR?
I think he was asking the podcast host who would be allowed to, not Tyler Reddick.
Okay, because that almost sounded like a tip and insider trading on something that you might be doing yourself. We'll see if he gets investigated or not.
He won't because, again, he didn't do anything. He asked the host of the podcast, who is not a NASCAR employee, you got any parlays you put down on qualifying today? Which I believe they're allowed to talk about it. They're just not allowed to do the thing. Here's what I do know. I already like Kyle Busch a lot. Then my man shows up to sit down and do a podcast, starts handing out Zyn packs, starts handing out many bottles of whiskey, starts asking what he's gambling on in NASCAR qualifying, and then makes a Chiefs get help by the refs joke to end the whole thing. I didn't need a reason to like Kyle Busch more than he antagonizes every other NASCAR fan, which is why I like him. But he gave me one anyway. Shout out Rowdy Busch, friend of the show.
Also, someone who drives for a living, like pushing alcohol, drinking and driving, not a good idea.
Buddy, you ain't been around NASCAR enough. They used to have a Budweiser car that ripped around the track wearing number 8. Buddy. They used to have a Crown Royal truck doing circles around Daytona 500.
They used to? They don't anymore?
Yeah, there's no alcohol cars anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know if there
Huh.
is, actually. I don't think there is. I think they did rid of the alcohol sponsorships a couple of years ago. The races are still sponsored by Mick Ultra and Bud Light and Busch Light and all these different beers and all that. There's still advertisements for the booze around the NASCAR track. I'll say this. Kyle Busch wasn't racing. Kyle Busch wasn't drinking. He was just making sure everybody else around him was having a good time. And if there's one thing that I can respect about that whole takeaway, my man showed up with the Zyn pouch, showed up with the mini booze, started talking gambling, made a Chiefs joke. He just wants to make sure everybody else is having a good time.
Sound like the devil peddling sin.
Call me the devil. Because that sounds like a party I want an invite to. Kyle Busch, Rowdy, I'm more in your corner than I've ever been in your corner before because you sound like you know how to have a damn good time, and I'm here for it. All right, I got some more sound for you when we come back here in just a minute, including Mick Cronin losing his mind for no reason, Kobe Bryant's description of what he believes the All-Star game should be, Adam Schefter on a potential big-time quarterback move in the NFL, and my boy Bobin singing a love song to the ladies. That one's worth sticking around for by itself. The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
Just want you to know, you said Kerner.
So what?
Kerner.
Kerner?
Down on the corner.
Out on the street?
Yep.
Willie and the Po' Boys is playing?
They're playing down the corner.
Grab a nickel, stamp your feet. Bounce, bounce, down, 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 down. Why did you put that song into my head? Now I will sing it all day. Oh man, you gotta stay right there. I'll be right back. Got one more sound clip to upload.
Well, I'm way beyond that now.
Continuing with the audio blitz here for another 9 minutes or so, because in the next segment of the show, we are going to be joined by the head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, Kyle Mountain, going to join us live on the stream, by the way, which you can join at facebook.com/thefanupstate, the Fan Upstate on YouTube, the Fan Upstate on Twitter, if you're there, the Rob Brown Show on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch, if you're one of them there millennials who prefers the new age of technology. Let's get some more sound in here as we roll on with the radio broadcast. I have tried to sell you guys on the TGL. And some of you have come around. Some of you have listened. Some of you have tried it out and realized it's kind of fun. There have been some moments of absolute electricity. Some guys knocking down 40-foot ship ins to force overtimes, to win overtimes. There's also some moments that are really funny.
Is it possible, really quick, for this to eliminate rain delays?
Yeah, because it's inside.
No, I mean, if you're out on like the Masters is going on or something, probably not the Masters, but a lesser tournament is going on and there's rain for like 3 more days and there's no way they're going to get it in, that they can move it indoors?
I mean, I think long-term that could theoretically, but I doubt it, because I think at the end of the day, player versus course elements is what this is about. And while you can play on this super high-tech simulator that can calculate ball spin and velocity and trajectory and vector and all that, you're hitting off of a square piece of flat grass, right? We can't really simulate a guy having his ball sitting on the side of a hill above his feet and him having to choke way down and take a half swing. But that's what makes golf. So the answer is no. But what it can do is entertain the hell out of me on a Tuesday, because the Genesis was over on Sunday. There's no golf until next week down in Mexico. So Tiger in the game, go out and play. I got to tell you, kind of fun to watch. Tiger Woods ends up hitting his drive 199 yards shy of the flag. And then he steps up for his second shot.
He's got a wedge. What are you doing? 199. You said 99 yards. I said 99. Can you have a hole again? No, I heard you say 99, not 199.
I'm going to have to do some investigative journalism. What the hell just happened?
No, I heard 99 yards. So I grabbed my 56 and I hit 100 yards. I saw that. What? 194 yards of wedge. That looks like a wedge. I know, but he's 99 yards. I didn't know it was 199.
And a club selection is 1.
199. You said 99 yards. I said 99. I said 99.
Now, it probably doesn't translate as well just on audio as it did watching it yesterday. But Tiger Woods goes up 199 yards from the green, except for somebody told him 199. He only heard the 99, took his 56 degree up there, hit it, by the way, 99 on the dot. I mean, dropped it to 99 yards exactly, and was still 100 yards short of the hole. And what ended up happening was what happens every time me and the boys go out and play. That is to say, I shank a shot for no good reason, and the other 3 guys I'm going to force them with fall out of their golf carts laughing at how bad I am at this game. The other 3 guys on the Jupiter Golf Club were quite literally rolling on the ground laughing at Tiger Woods making this mistake in this story. It is, when I say it's electric, I mean it's electric, because there have been these high-intensity, high-performance moments where guys like Shane Lowry are going out there and hitting golf shots that you're like, that's unbelievable. If he did that in a tournament, we'd be celebrating it forever and ever and ever. And then you have moments where Tiger Woods hits the ball half the distance he needs for an easy up and down because he misheard something, and his 3 friends on his team start dying laughing at it. It was incredible.
Sounds like elder abuse. I mean,
well, but I got news. He's younger than you are.
Yeah. So I mean, but is he younger than you?
No, I'm younger than Tiger.
Not by much.
Doesn't matter. You didn't ask, is he a lot older than me? All right. Lonzo.
Yes.
You and I, thank you. You and I have messed up at our job before.
Not today, though.
No, I have.
No, not
I
today.
have.
That was sarcasm.
Yeah, no, I know. I have a lot. You know, I got to tell you, there's days I mess up at the job. There's days that maybe I'm talking about South Carolina baseball. I get a little out ahead of myself. My mouth outruns the brain a little bit, and I say an accidental word that is accidental, but actually a word, and it goes real bad. However, what I can say is usually when I make a mistake on the radio, it's usually something that we can hearty, chuckle, laugh off, and move on to the next thing. However, while I don't take great joy in other people getting in trouble for doing a bad job, sometimes I take great joy in other people doing a bad job because it makes me look less terrible by comparison. Here, during the big one last weekend, was Cole Custer's spotter.
Up a 3. All around, clear. Wrecking behind us. No caution, no caution. Keep digging here. No caution. Keep digging, no caution. All the way to the line. Still 2 back in line. Still 2 back in line. Still 1 back in line. No caution. 1 back. All the way to the line here. Sorry, Cole. I was watching the freaking 24. Are you okay? Are you okay there? Yeah. Well, that makes me feel stupid. Yeah, we got swap positions there with him. Gave it all I had. I need to rewatch it. You did a hell of a job there.
Okay, so if you're not adept in NASCAR lingo, let me explain to you what happened. That whole beginning of that,
Up a 3.
all this part right here,
All around, clear.
where he's talking about. So what he's doing is describing what's happened on the racetrack. He's telling the guy in the race car, hey, you got a driver below you, a driver above you. You can't go up. You can go down. You got a driver behind you. He's going to bump draft you. He's going to pull back off a little bit, explaining every little detail. It's the most important position outside of the driver and the crew chief on a NASCAR circuit to tell the driver that can't see 360 degrees around him what's happening 360 degrees around him. And the whole time that Cole Custer's spotter is doing all of this,
No caution, no caution. Keep digging here. No.
Cole Custer's car is spinning through the infield because he got wrecked. My man was looking at and spotting the wrong car. He was telling Cole everything that was going on with William Byron's car. Now, you might go, what's the big deal there, Rob? You may know this, but if you don't worry about it. NASCAR cars have big numbers on them. There's one on both sides. There's one on the roof. Big numbers.
They're moving really fast, Rob.
They are. Spotters are way up in a crow's nest, way up on top of the track. They ain't moving that fast. They're not blurs. I've been to a race. William Byron's car has a big 24 on it. Cole Custer's car has a big 41 on it. My man was just straight up as Cole Custer was spinning through the infield of the Daytona 500 Raceway. My dude was calling the race for William Byron, who is, and I've done the research, not Cole Custer, which means that as Cole Custer's car is spinning circles through the Daytona 500 infield, and he is now aware, I've lost this race. I cannot win this race. He is listening to his spotter tell him how well William Byron, who is still active on the race, is driving. Cole Custer's spinning circles in the infield, listening to his spotter going, hey, great job. You're doing a hell of a job. Great job. While he's actively lost the race. I got to tell you, I feel a lot better about my little misfire on the show earlier.
How much do you think a spotter makes?
Good money. Did you hear how much that guy talked? That, but for 4 hours. And you got to be on point. When I say on point, I'm talking down to like a foot of accuracy for a drive. If you say you got room to move up and that driver decides to throw up into the top lane, get into a groove that's better for his vehicle, and you missed by a foot, and he puts his rear quarter panel into the nose of Jimmy Johnson coming up on that high line behind him, he's sending both cars into the track, and not only has he ruined his day, but at some point the 48's coming for a receipt the next time around.
Do you think a robo spotter would fix that?
I mean, I bet we could work it out. And I got to tell you, if I'm a driver,
because you don't
and
seem to
go,
be upset about the human element as far as the spotter.
No, see,
goes.
because that is a person who is a part of the team, whose performance as a part of the team impacts the team. You know how it would be different? If NASCAR started saying, oh, no, that's a penalty for no reason. That's where it'd be a problem. That's a team member. That's like me saying, oh, the quarterback threw a bad pass there. Oh, we should robo QB. No, that's part of the team doing part of the team things. That's importante. That's way more important Way more important. Tell you what, I got a few more things to get to, but we're going to push them because coming up next on the radio broadcast, the head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, Kyle Mountain, is going to join us. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of Swamp Rabbit ice hockey. And we will do that next on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. If I can find his. All right, guys, go step away while I get Kyle set up. Y'all stay right there for me. BRB. Coach Kyle Mountain, how the hell we doing, big dog?
Good. How you doing, Rob?
I did not hear him. Hang on, Coach. We got to get you set up here.
Well, it's not muted. It's not us.
Oh,
Coach, is your mic turned on? Because we can't hear you.
should be settings.
How about now? Can you hear us, Coach?
I got you guys.
You
yeah.
can hear us, but we can't. The website itself is unmuted. The right click on the tab thing.
Yeah, I'm over here doing the thing. I mean, you can come and look if you don't believe me.
Hang on, Coach. We're gonna figure it out. Give us 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up the 8 o'clock hour. We got a big set of hockey games coming up at the Bon Score Wellness Arena this weekend. Is your my hour. Greenville Swamp Rabbits make their triumphant return to the house. Pretty good set of games last week. I guess I should say earlier this week, with a dub on Sunday. A dub on Monday, playing as the Johnstown Chiefs, which was awesome. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. Military Appreciation Night coming up on Saturday. And then Chris Jansen, country music megastar, playing an on-ice postgame concert on Sunday. Good weekend to be a Greenville Swamp Rabbits fan. Don't know if we got the issues worked out. We're about to find out. But joining us on the stream is the head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, Kyle Mountain, stopping by to talk a little ice hockey. Coach, do we have you?
Hopefully, I'm here. I can hear you. You got me.
Fantastic. Here's what I'm going to do. Actually, Lonzo, I'm just going to have him call the phone if you don't mind. Coach, do me a favor if you got your phone on you. Leave the stream on. We're going to make you work double hard today. It's game week. You got the day off. That's what we do. Do me a favor. Call the studio at 864-448-3663. We're gonna do the old combo phone stream duo thing here. Coaches,
Give him the number again.
844. I'm real dumb. I'm real bad at this. 844-326-3663. We'll get Coach Kyle Mountain on the phone here in just a second. And I'm going to make him work double time, overtime, and stay on the stream while he does it so we can kick it back and forth because it is a big week. It is a good week for the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. Now we should have him. Coach, now that we figured stuff out, how we doing, big dog?
You hear me? You got me?
We're good. We're good. I love it. Just like Major League Baseball strength training, Coach. You know, sometimes you got to lean on technology to get it figured out.
That's right.
That's right. We're problem solvers. So all good here.
Hey, a little bit at a time, man. Sometimes somebody goes down because they, slide into the side of the goalpost and have an upper body injury, and you got to pull a defenseman off. You just got to adapt on the fly.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole other issue they're dealing with. But see what happens there.
I want to talk about the Bunnies, but I do want to get your thoughts as a hockey guy, Coach. This Four Nation face-off. You in like I'm in? Because I got to tell you, I'm full throttle. I love this thing so much.
I think it's incredible.
I think the league did an amazing job with just even allowing this to happen. Obviously, there's a lot of conversations and agreements that have to be made to make something like this happen in teams. But now you see other leagues like, hey, how do we replicate this, or how do we do something like this that gets the fans engaged and gets the players playing competitively, with so much passion for their country. So I think, the hockey's been incredible. Tomorrow night's just going to be an unreal game. So we're really excited for that. But I think the whole thing's been awesome. It's been a slam dunk for the league and just for hockey in general. So really cool to see it unfold the way it has. And I think it had to be U.S. and Canada in the end. So luckily they got that, but it's going to be a fun one tomorrow.
What does it mean? Because we heard PK Subban, we listened to a clip he had on ESPN yesterday. What does it mean for a hockey player, whether it's for country, whether it's for club, whether it's for local community, when the Rabbits pull that Greenville jersey down over the pads to go play? What does it mean in the hockey world for maybe those of us that are kind of getting familiar with it to represent a group, whether it is, again, country, club, community, etc.? What does it mean to pull on that crest and wear it out onto the ice to a player?
Yeah, you know what? I think a lot of it is the nature of the game and just how difficult the game is, how challenging it is, how competitive it is. So to be able to represent, like you said, whoever might be, a team, a community, a city, obviously your country, I think just, how hard these guys play the game, how much they put themselves through. It just means a lot to be able to do that for, a certain group of people or, any type of community that can rally around a team like that. So obviously, the U.S. and hockey in the States have rallied around this team in a huge way, especially with just the fireworks, starting that game against Canada and all that stuff. And to have the championship game in the U.S., I think is really cool how they did it, partially up in Canada and having this title game in Boston. So, it's really cool to see. I think it's just a great buzz going around the game right now. So, it should be a lot of fun watching that game tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm real interested. By the way, the Greenville Swamp Rabbits hosting a game watch party for the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game tomorrow at Pickle Park in the GVL. That's going to be an absolute blast. One more non-Rabbit question, Coach, and then we're going to start talking a little Greenville hockey. But it came up earlier in the show. The word buddy has been introduced into my dialect big time the last couple weeks. And I'm not going to lie, I think it picked it up from you and the boys. I think spending so much time around the team, I've started to have some of these hockeyisms that have started to make their way into my language. I grew up on the beach in Florida, man. The only ice I've ever been around has been in a margarita glass. How does that lingo, that vernacular, that way of talking, how has that become so prominent and the voice of hockey? Is there a reason for that you're aware of?
I don't know. That's a really good
question.
I'm sure you'd have to go way back.
and man, that's probably a long history with the vocabulary and the lingo. But I'm happy now. You got the bullhorn, and now you got some of the lingo starting to get you. You got Jersey on you.
Slowly just adding to the arsenal here. So it's all good stuff. I like it.
We'll keep working on it.
I like it. I like it. All right, let's talk a little Swamp Rabbit hockey here. Coach, want to take you back to last weekend, an interesting 3-game set, a 3-2 loss to Savannah on Friday, but you turn around, you take on the Wheeling Nailers, who, by the way, are up towards the top of the table, and you get back-to-back wins over this team on Sunday, Monday, 2-5 on Sunday, 1-2 on Monday. Both of those incredible games. Talk to me a little bit about the turnaround, the ability to put the losing streak in the back pocket, including that Friday night game, and get you, or excuse me, that Saturday night game, and get the boys' mentality right to go pick up a couple of dubs on Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, I think I'd even go back a little further to that long road trip we had. We were in Indianapolis and then down to Fort Myers. So I think starting in Indy specifically, I just think we started to really turn things a bit just in terms of our play and kind of playing more to our standard and playing the way they were capable of. We got a couple really good wins in Indy, and then winning in Florida had a really good start to that 3-game series against them. Ended up dropping the next 2 games against them, but ultimately we were playing really well. So I think even result aside, we knew that we were kind of starting to get more to us and just playing a little bit better brand of hockey, and then coming back and this past week and specifically, wish we could have gotten that one done in overtime against Savannah. I think we played a pretty solid game and picked up an important point, obviously, but turn around like you said, and Wheeling's a really good team. They've had a really good season so far. So definitely a different challenge seeing them first time in the year. It's the only time really. So not 100% sure what you're going to get, but we were pretty thorough in our prep. We had the guys there as far as style play and what some of their looks are, higher end players are, how to play those guys. But things came together in a pretty good way. So I think they're defensively we've been sound. Really good. Just in that end of the ice, and goaltending really good, and then offensively, obviously we were able to wake up a little bit and get the guys production up. So overall, it's coming together in a pretty good way right now.
Talk to me a little bit about that, Rody. We were waking the voice of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, Mark Benetti, up from whatever hotel room you stuffed him in since he was traveling with the fellas over those 2 weeks. He brought up a couple of times that, sports, I think, across the spectrum, this probably applies to, but I think it's probably maybe more relevant in hockey than others. That long road trip, especially at a point in time where there were some, end of 2025 struggles, maybe a little chemistry. How advantageous was it to take the full roster, the full complement of fellas, take them up to Indy, take them down to South Florida, get them out of Greenville, and kind of force them into a spot where they only had each other for a 2-week roadie? How do you take advantage of that opportunity as a head coach?
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for us to again come together as a team more and more. And road trips are really good for that. Obviously, we got a busy schedule of games, a lot of practices, travel in between. But there was some downtime and there were some opportunities like team meals or just being able to get everybody in the same room, spend some time with each other, and then it helps certainly when you're playing well too. And I think we've been able to play some decent hockey on the road, and I think like I said, for I'm sure a multitude of reasons, but things started to click a little bit. But anytime you do get the guys together for an extended period of time like that, it's just a really good opportunity to kind of have those chances to talk with guys, and get together as a group, whether that's individually or collectively. Just kind of communicate with guys. Continue to bring the team together. I think it's great for the guys too. And then the trip to Fort Myers is not the worst thing in the world either. So I think you get a little bit of downtime outside. The weather's nice. So guys, I thought it was a really fun trip. It was a long one, like you said, but I thought we made the most out of it, and we're pretty happy with how things turned out.
Head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, Kyle Mountain, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Let's talk a little bit about this weekend, Coach. You get another crack at South Carolina on the road Friday before you come back for a Saturday-Sunday doubleheader at the Crib. How important is it with this road game? You went from having a bunch of road games in a row to a good little homestand. Now one roadie tossed in the middle. How do you make sure that you guys are dialed in for a turnaround to South Carolina and then a quick run back to Greenville? Make sure everybody's on the same page for that.
Yeah, we got a couple
days
coming up here where
we got a lot to get done. But
it's a tough building. We've had a challenging time in that building so far this year.
So I think for us, if anything that could be a positive, we're just going to really keep us focused, keep us dialed into what we need to do and how we need to prepare. Really good team there in Charleston. It's, like I said, difficult place to play. So I think we just got to make sure we're buttoned up this week in our prep and make sure we get a couple good days in, and then we can go on the road there on Friday.
For Charleston. So, really good test for us again.
I think we'll some momentum here. We just got to do everything we can to
grab onto that,
hold on to it, and just keep things rolling into. It's going to be an awesome, really exciting weekend.
Points at a premium at this point, Coach, because obviously Greenville right now out of a playoff spot, but that does not mean the playoffs are out of reach for this team. How do you and where does the balance kick in between continuing, obviously, player development, which is the goal of this league, but also looking at that and going, all right, now we're getting to the point where threes got to happen more than twos and more than ones. Have you kind of started to hit that, or is that a little further down the road?
Yeah, I think a little bit.
It's not something that we're going to really overly fixate on. Guys know, every point matters.
This market is season.
So I think, for us to just continuously and consistently gain points in each opportunity that we get.
That's the goal right now.
I'm not sure we're going to be sitting here dissecting the standing board just yet.
Kind of counting that.
With 24 or so to go. But, we understand where we are.
You only get
so many opportunities.
We got to take advantage.
We got to make sure we're at our best every night and giving ourselves a chance to come away with
we'll have an eye on it
for sure. I don't understand kind of where we are, but right now it's just how do we continue to keep playing better and better hockey. If you're playing your best hockey end of February into March, then typically good things happen. So that's the goal.
Saturday night, a big night, Military Appreciation Day night. It's one of my favorite games every year, Coach. You got a gym full of people that put on a uniform to go out there and defend us and our freedom and our ability to gather at the well and drink a couple of beers and enjoy some hockey on a Saturday. You guys get the opportunity to pull on a uniform to go out and entertain a bunch of U.S. military veterans who are going to join us for this incredible night. What does it mean for you and the boys to be able to go out there and give something back to the service members, the veterans, the active duties that are going to be joining you at the well on Saturday?
Yeah, it's really exciting for us.
Just thinking back to last year's incredible atmosphere, just an unbelievable building that night, and I think.
Similar to
Signature night, a week or so ago, it just really puts in perspective what's important, and I think for us to be able to play and perform and eat in front of those that have served and sacrificed so much, and really just giving back to this country in such a significant way. We feel very blessed and very fortunate to be able to, like you said, play the sport that we love and work in this industry and do what we love to do, and it's those that have served that have really allowed us for those opportunities. I think we're really lucky to be in this position. We're really excited to be able to put on a show and to be able to celebrate those who have given so much and sacrificed. So I know for me personally, it's always a really exciting night. I know our organization so much into this night. They care so much and want to make sure that everything is done to the highest possible standard, again, for those that have served. And really cool opportunity for our guys to do it again, put things in perspective and understand the sacrifice needed
to allow us
to do and to make this country what it is really cool. So I think it'll be a big night for us, and we're really excited.
Kyle Mountain, head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Then on Sunday, Military Appreciation Weekend continues. Country music legend Chris Jansen coming to play a little post-game on ice concert. Coach, number one, are we getting you on stage? Can we get you a little buy me a boat action up there on a microphone? Are you in?
We get a couple wins.
All right.
You say that now, Coach. I'm not saying. I mean, we may do a little bandy-okie with Kyle Mountain and Chris Jansen. Y'all might be the new Brooks and Dunn.
We'll see.
We'll see. Like I said, let's take care of business first this weekend, and then we'll have a chat out post game on Sunday.
Love to hear it. Kyle Mountain, head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show. Kyle, I know it's a big weekend for the boys. I appreciate you taking the time to come chat with us, big fella. We'll see you at the well on Saturday.
Thanks, Rob.
Appreciate it. Lonzo, good seeing you. Thanks, guys.
There you go. Head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, Kyle Mountain, joining us here on the show. Appreciate his time. Appreciate all the hard work of Mark Benetti to make sure we get this pulled off, and we appreciate all you showing up to listen to it. You know what else I appreciate? I appreciate when Lonzo sits back, enlightens, entertains, educates, and enthralls us all with a sports flash. That was really good. I made that up on the fly. That was good.
I have nothing to add because you're right by everything you said. The South Carolina baseball team improved to 4-0 to open the season with a 5-3 road victory in Rock Hill over the Winthrop Eagles. Jarvis Evans went 3.1 innings with 5 hits, 5 Ks, and 3 earned runs before Brandon Stone entered for 3.2 innings, allowing just 1 hit, no runs, striking out 3, and earning the win. Andy Dalton will spend another year with the Carolina Panthers, signing a 2-year deal worth an estimated $8 million with 6 guaranteed and escalators that could increase the value to $10 million over the contract. Dalton was scheduled to become an unrestricted free agent, but made it clear he wanted to stick around with the Panthers. Tune in tonight, 7 p.m. as the Furman Paladins take on the Sanford Bulldogs. It's Furman versus Sanford right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. The Fan, Upstate. Fueled by frustration, Stephen, as I can't figure out why that interview didn't work correctly. People really need to quit changing settings on the computer. I don't know why they would need to, unless an update caused a change, which can happen, but still. And I am just being informed by a text that engineering is not in the building because they're going to a tower site. So they wouldn't have been able to help anyway.
Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Are you a victim of the Thompson trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, the founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original Thompson Insulation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is
The mouth of the team, Benetti, just texted me, and he goes, I feel like after that interview, if we sweep the 2 games this weekend, we gotta get Kyle Mountain on the microphone singing a little "Buy Me a Boat" with Chris Jansen. I was like, send the email to his people right now.
So take us off for a second.
Yeah. Be right back, guys. Alonzo has to tell me what I screwed up. All right, we're back. How much are Swamp Rabbit tickets? Kane, I actually don't know the answer. But what I can tell you is a little insider trading secret. The cheapest way to get them is to call the team directly. They will sell them to you directly, and that'll knock off some of the website fees that you might be charged otherwise, convenience fees. If you want to come to a game, just call the ticket reps directly from the team itself. That's the cheapest way to get them. I honestly, unfortunately, off the top of my head, I don't know because I work games, so I don't buy tickets.
I'm gonna be mad the rest of the day about that.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's not though.
I'm going to work on the assumption that there was a good reason for that.
I'd like to know what it is, but it's not worth causing an argument over. It just.
I'm going to ask just because I'm curious.
No, just quit changing things. This ain't your house. It's our house.
Ludwig Kaiser did a podcast yesterday. I listened to about 30 minutes.
Yeah, I listened to the majority of it.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. I like him a lot.
The whole time I'm listening is like, man, we could have fun. We could get him
Stellar
on.
international heel.
Yeah.
Like does it without it being like cliche 80s, and I'm here for it.
Well, I just want to
Did you see
ask
when they
him.
asked him about Braun hitting the table on the missed spear?
I don't think
Braun ran
I
full
got that far.
Okay.
Yeah.
They asked him about it. He's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you watch it, I didn't know this. If you watch it, he doesn't just move. He drops and he kicks Braun's leg out from under him. Kayfabe, but he kicks his leg. That's why Braun goes forward. He goes, I didn't see it. He goes, he was moving so fast that by the time that I kicked the leg out, hit my back, and looked over, he was already down holding himself, and the ref was checking him. He's like, he was going so fast over me that he hit the table before I could roll over. That's how fast he was going. That's incredible. Here we go. The final hour of the Rob Brown Show starts now. It's the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, and you. 844-326-3663 is the number to be a part of the action. You can text that number. You can call that number and get on the air. 844-326-3663. Want you to do that. Want you to be a part of the show. Show's better when you're a part of it. Show's fine when you're not. Show's better when you are. I am going to echo something that we talked about back in the first hour of the show because it was 3 hours ago, and I want to. If you missed the opening salvo of the show, Major League Baseball has announced that 60% of spring training games, which kick off here in about a week, 60% of spring training games will have ABS, automatic balls and strikes, available, the tech available to be used. Now, the games themselves will not be fully umpired by the ABS system. The ABS system will be available in a challenge format. When a team is playing in one of the stadiums that are outfitted with ABS technology, teams will receive 2 challenges within that game. Only 3 people can challenge any given call: the pitcher, the catcher, or the batter. 2 challenges per game. If you get a challenge right, you retain the challenge. If you get the challenge wrong, you lose the challenge. It will use the Hawkeye technology. That technology is currently used by NASCAR to measure their cars down to the fraction of a millimeter. It is currently used by tennis. That's if you ever watch Wimbledon or whatever. Tennis players can challenge whether a ball's in or out, and they, down to fractions of a millimeter, can show you exactly on the tennis court where the ball hit, in or out, whatever. Same technology, just tailored for baseball. Twice per game, a pitcher, a catcher, or a batter can tap the helmet and challenge a call. If you get a reversal, you maintain the challenge. If the call was correct, you lose that challenge. There are no extra challenges in extra innings of the spring training game. I'm fine with this. I don't love it. I would honestly like to see spring training utilize all 3 methods. I would like to see spring training games where there is no ABS. I would like to see spring training games where the ABS is on a challenge system. And I would like to see spring training games that are fully umpired by ABS.
I swear, I know you're being serious, but every time I hear IBS when you say ABS,
that's a very different thing.
And it's
also challenging though.
It's driving me crazy.
I don't suffer from that, thankfully. Lead singer of my band does. About once a year, we'll be on stage.
Wow, you didn't need to tell about.
It's okay. He does it. It's nothing. It's a secret. All right. We're in our 40s, bud. All right. Like we own it now. About once a year, he'll walk over to me and he'll tap me and he'll be like, "Hey, you need to sing the next 4 or 5 songs." And then he'll just leave the stage. I'm like, "I got it. Got it." Anyway, I'd like to see ABS umpire entire games, every strike and ball called by ABS. I'd like to see some of the spring games where it's on a challenge system like it is set up. I'd like to see some of the games with no ABS at all. And I would like to be able to compare and contrast all of those games at the end of spring training and let everybody decide what they like the best. We've gone over this Robo-Ump thing a gazillion times. I got news for you. We're going to go over it a gazillion more every time that whatever incredible protege of Angel Hernandez goes out there and starts ringing guys up on strikes that are 2 feet outside, or every time I hear an announcer, as I did one time, say, fastball right down the middle for ball 1. Because play-by-play guys are just straight up calling umpires out at this point. This conversation's going to come back up because a strike's a strike and a ball's a ball. And it should be called that way, not, well, I guess that's his zone today. Now, I issued a challenge earlier this morning. Had a couple people attempt to take it. In my ever so humble opinion, they all failed miserably. We got a new audience here in the final hour of the show at 9:05 a.m. I'll issue the challenge once more. For those of you that are anti-robo-umpire, can you make an argument for keeping umpires in the game, especially if that argument involves the words human element? Can you make an argument for that? Of which the core argument doesn't sound like, I actually like bad calls. Because that's what the human element is, at least in my opinion. The human element, you saying, I like the human element, is you saying, I like bad calls. I like that batters have to adjust to balls that are not called balls, strikes that are not called strikes. I like that players on the baseball diamond can have the entire game influenced, impacted, and affected by a referee who didn't get the boom boom from the lady last night and is having a real bad day and decided, you know what? This pitcher ticked me off. He looked at me the wrong way. So the strike zone is an inch. It's an inch inside today. Or a pitcher who an umpire who the night before went out to the whiskey bar, tied one on, knocked a handful of bourbons down the chute, and then goes, oh, God, my head hurts. I don't want to be here today. Let's widen this strike zone out, get a couple of extra Ks in here, and go home early. That, to me, is the human element. Here's where I come from. There are only 2 groups of people that should impact the outcome of a game. Team A and Team B. The umpires should not be part of that. And any spot in the game, and we're specifically talking about baseball now, mainly because in a lot of other sports, if we're being honest, fouls are subjective largely. In baseball, at least with balls and strikes, they're not. It's either a ball or it is a strike. The runner is either safe or the runner is out. And we have ways of dialing in and getting that call right most of the time. So, I am issuing the challenge to you, dear listeners. Make an argument to keep human umpires. And if that argument involves the human element, please do it in a way that does not boil down to, I just like bad calls. If a pitcher throws a pitch and he gets it over the plate, he deserves credit for a strike if the batter doesn't hit it. If a pitcher throws a pitch that is not over the plate, he deserves a ball if the batter doesn't swing at it. If the batter sees a strike and watches it and doesn't swing, he should be penalized for not knowing that it was a strike and not swinging the baseball bat. If a batter sees a ball that is an inch off the plate and decides not to swing at it, he should be awarded with a ball added to the count. He should not be penalized because the umpire is hungover, tired, pent up, just doesn't like him because he made a joke about his mama back in the day, or bad at his job, as a bunch of them have been over the years. Can you make me an argument that is anti-robo-ump if that argument uses the human element? Can you convince me that your argument does not essentially boil down to, I like when baseball players have to fight through bad calls? Here's my counter to that. If an umpire makes a bad call, and you call it a human element aspect of the game, what has happened is the umpire has had a direct say on the outcome of that play. On any given pitch, there are 3 people that should have an impact on the outcome: the pitcher who throws it, the catcher who called it, the batter who swings or doesn't swing, takes a ball, commits a strike, whatever. That's it. No one else should have an impact. Now, you can go, because I've heard this argument used before. Wait a minute, Rob. The fans up in the stands, swing, bada. Don't they have an impact? Hey, that's elements of the game. But it doesn't have a direct impact. There's not a volume meter up in the stadium that they say, hey, fans, if you get us over 101 decibels, we'll call a strike. That's not a direct impact. That is an indirect impact, and I'm fine with indirect impact.
That would be kind of cool if they did that.
Actually, would be kind of dope. Like exhibition, maybe all-star games. Maybe that's another way we can get people involved. But we don't do that. That's an indirect impact on the game. I got no problem with indirect impact on the game, right? Having different stadiums have different dimensions, I don't necessarily love it, but it's an indirect impact on the game. But if a pitcher gets the ball over the rubber, that's a strike. And if it's outside the rubber, that's a ball. That's not subjective. That is what it is. It is a clearly defined outcome of that pitch. Every pitch should be impacted by the pitcher throwing it, the catcher catching it and calling it, and the batter swinging or not swinging. Good eye, batter, good eye. That's it. The umpire should have no say in whether it's a ball or a strike. It either is or it is not. No one should have any say because it's not something you have a say about. It is objectively a ball or it is objectively a strike. When we start talking about calls and penalties and rules that are subjective, now, okay, we can kind of have the human element conversation. There's not as much of that as you might think there is. There's not as much of the subjective calls in sports as you think that there is. Most of it is objective. We've just elected to say it's subjective. The concept of a holding penalty in the NFL is clearly defined in the rule book. We've just kind of said that, you know, if the hands are inside the numbers, we're not going to call that. But if they're outside the numbers, we will call that. Well, some referees will call that and others won't. But if it's out here, it's definitely a hold. That's not technically subjective. We've all kind of agreed in the social contract that we will treat it as subjective, but it's not. But there are some things that are clearly and objectively what they are. Did a football player, while running around that, maybe it's a hold, maybe it's not, subjective call, did he step out of bounds? That's not subjective. Either he touched the paint and he's out of bounds, or he didn't touch the paint and he's inbounds. That's something that we should get right 100% of the time, and we don't. Is a ball fair or foul? That's not subjective. There's no, well, I think it wasn't. I think it was spinning this way. It's either foul or it's fair. We should get that right 100% of the time. And pitches are either balls or strikes. And we should get that right 100% of the time, or at least as close to that as we can get it. I have interacted with this Hawkeye technology that they are going to have in 60% of MLB spring training games. I've directly interacted with it. Last year, I went up to a NASCAR garage in Charlotte. They had this tech installed because that's how they measure the NASCAR stock cars. I got a demo of it. It was incredible. They drive one of the stock cars. They'd set it on a wayplate. This wayplate was structured to provide a perfectly flat, perfectly level surface for the car to sit on. And then they would take this Hawkeye technology and they would beam lasers all over the car. And then you could look at a computer and this car could tell you to the fraction, or excuse me, this computer could tell you to the fraction of a millimeter how high the skirt of the car was off of the ground, how high the roof of the car was off the ground, how far from nose of the car to rear fin on the car was. It could tell you which tire was maybe a little bit lighter, had a little more weight. It could tell you the exact camber of the tires, the angle at which they are tilted in to account for the curve of the racetrack. The guy who was giving me this tour walked around to the back of the car and he said, watch those numbers. I want to show you how ridiculous this technology is. He walked around to the back of the car and he set his hand out. He didn't press down. He didn't slap his hand down. He literally just set his hand on the top of the NASCAR vehicle. And I'm watching the computer screen. I watch him do it. I turn to the screen and I watch all of these numbers start to change. Fractions of a millimeter. That's how accurate this tech is. We have the ability to track a baseball. Lonzo, I don't remember what the context of it was, but a couple of weeks ago, I brought up the fact that there are cameras now that are readily available, by the way. This isn't like space age Star Wars technology that costs you $1 billion anymore. They're just people on YouTube that have this, that record at 1,000,000+ FPS, frames per second. These cameras are so ridiculously fast that you can fire a bullet out of a gun, and this camera can pick up the spin of a rifle round leaving the barrel of a rifle. You can see the bullet spin. This thing is so fast that if you shoot a bullet into an apple, you can watch the bullet disappear into the apple, and you can watch the apple explode. Not just explode like poof, gone. You can watch the front of the apple explode while the back's intact, and then the middle of the apple explode while the back's intact, and then the back of the apple explode, and then you can see the bullet spiral out the back of the apple. Go to YouTube, search 1,000,000 FPS camera. They're incredible. We can just put that in there, and we can get an exact read. Put one up top, put one on the sides. We can get an exact read of exactly where that ball crossed the plate. You combine that with the Hawkeye technology, we can get a ball and a strike 99.9% of the way correct. 99.9% of the time, we can get a ball and a strike exactly correct. Why would we not do that? Well, like the human element. Then I'm begging you, say that you like incorrect calls. Say that you like seeing the athletes not be rewarded for positive performance or penalized for negative performance. Say that you think an umpire on any given pitch should have more power over the outcome of the game than the players playing the game, because that is the argument that you are making. And I challenge any of you listening to this show later on when I post this on the internet, I challenge any of you to give me an argument that isn't human error, aka I like when umps have more power over the result of a play than players, because that is what you're arguing. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Joey B said once robo umps became as quick or quicker than a human umpire for calling balls and strikes, any argument for them went away. I've done that today. I haven't done that today. You good?
No. I'm stuck.
Joey B, I was reading this earlier today when I started the segment back in the first hour.
30 years in radio. Never had this happen.
Really?
It's
Oh,
stuck
dude,
on my foot. Stuck
I've had that happen once a week.
Yeah.
Minor League Baseball has been playing with this technology for a couple of years now. And MLB has been tracking the results of it. And what they have found is that challenges via ABS add 17 seconds per challenge to a broadcast, which means if you have 4 challenges, and obviously you can have more because you get one right, you get the challenge back. If you have 4 challenges, you're adding 1 minute and 8 seconds to a broadcast. I accept. To get balls and strikes right, I'll sit down for an extra 68 seconds of smoking hot baseball action. Okay? If it's not a challenge system, if it's just ABS calling balls and strikes, in fact, not only does that not add any time, I would make the argument that'd be faster and it subtracts time because now there's not going to be managers coming out. I still don't understand why they wear baseball uniforms, but there's not going to be managers coming out, waddling out there, pulling their pants up to throw their hat on the ground and argue with an umpire that a ball was a ball or a strike was a strike. That's gone from the game. Good. You want to talk about what stuff that's gonna speed up the game? It's not like it makes no sense to me. This is a big part of it. Now, I don't think there's as many of those as we think that there is, but I used to get so infuriated every time Angel Hernandez would call a strike by doing like this. It's like, buddy, make the call and let's move on, right? Like, I'm not here to watch a choreographed umpire dance. Now, if you like that, the theatric of the game, leave them out there. Let them have a little wristwatch on. And they can still watch the pitch. And when the pitch comes in, they just look at their watch. And if it's a strike, it lights up green. And if it's a ball, it lights up red. And they just look at his watch and he goes, it's a strike. And now he can still stand up. Let's be real. We as fans, we don't know if it's a ball or a strike until he makes a signal. It lights up green. He stands up and then he goes and rings the guy up. Oh, we still get to celebrate as if the call was made by an umpire. It doesn't change anything.
It does. It's ridiculous because that guy is irrelevant now. And once you eliminate him from actually doing something, then as a business, you go, okay, I can save a lot of money by not having that guy back there. So you get rid of him. So you've cost him and a bunch of other people their jobs, which is what robots do.
How many MLB umpires are there? Major League Baseball has roughly, any given year, 76 full-time umpires divided into crews of 4. That means if we went...
Be careful what you're about to say, because you're about to say those 76 people, that's such a small percentage, it's okay for those guys to lose their job.
If we went fully automated and removed them from the field, which you do not have to do. I have given you how to go ABS and not remove them.
You've made them irrelevant, is what you've done.
No, I haven't.
You have.
For the record, I was going to bump on from this conversation, and I will, but I do want to address something that we were talking about during the stream or during the break on the stream. Facebook.com/The Fan Upstate, The Fan Upstate on YouTube, The Fan Upstate on Twitter, The Rob Brown Show on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. Join us. We're live all 4 hours, all 5 days a week, unless there's not 5 days in the week like there is this week, in which case we're 4, in which case we're live 4 days a week, all 4 hours. You're welcome. We got Joey B, we got James, we got Wesley, we've got P1 Armada Elitist Kane in here today. We've had Miss April stop by, Trey, Steven, Coach Mitch have all been in here. William's been in here. Zach's been in here. We got 82 people watching the show right now. We'd love to make it 83 with you. That's a personal appeal. We were talking during the break. And Lonzo said, in a take that I've heard before, not an unfair one. Lonzo said, hang on, Rob Brown. What you're doing if you go to a fully automated baseball game, which I am in favor of, what you're doing is you're making the umpires irrelevant. He said you're effectively costing their job. I went and looked it up. Major League Baseball has, on average, roughly 76 full-time umpires and then a handful more that are emergencies, right? Like 3 guys go down in a weekend. They got a couple of guys on the phone that they can go, hey, you want to come ump a game this weekend? 76 guys. They're not irrelevant because a major part of sports is theatrics, right? Like it's theatrics. Sports are soap operas for sports, for us, for fans. Here's the thing. Here's your scenario. World Series, Game 7, bottom of the ninth, home team down 1. Say it's the Yankees taking on the Dodgers because that's what's going to happen this year. I hate it. Aaron Judge at the dish, 2-ounce, bottom of the ninth, man on second, Yanks down 1. He's staring down. He's looking out there, and here comes the pitch from Shohei Ohtani, who somehow ended up drawing Game 7. Shut up. It's hypothetical. Shohei throws a heater in there. Aaron Judge watches it. I have no idea. Ball strike? I don't know. They're not putting the ABS on the screen. They don't have to. Let's keep the theatrics. Back behind the plate is head umpire and crew chief Lonzo Reitzel. Lonzo's back there. He's crouched down behind the catcher. He watched this pitch. And then what do we all see watching at home? Because sports is drama. Drama is theatrics. What do we see? We see Lonzo look down at his little Apple wristwatch or push the little headset thing into his ear or whatever we decide to use as an indicator. Lonzo watches the pitch. He looks down at his little wristwatch and he waits. And then he stands up and the world waits with bated breath because we don't know. And then Lonzo Reitzel looks dead into the camera, stares into our souls. All 330 million Americans tuned in for Game 7 of the most iconic World Series we've ever seen. And then Lonzo goes, and rings up Aaron Judge, and the LA Dodgers win the World Series on a backwards K from Aaron Judge. That was a strike called a strike. We all hung on what? We hung on the human. We hung on Lonzo making the call. Lonzo didn't make the calls in the determination of whether it was a ball or it was a strike. But what Lonzo did do is provide us with that briefest second of drama while we wait. Was it a ball? Was it a strike? And then when he goes and what's your strikeout move? I feel like you're a ripcord guy.
No, I don't like the scenario because you have rendered the umpire less important than the mascot. And it's just there. If you get to that point, there's not going to be an umpire back there. There's no point. He's not doing anything. Theatrics? Really? You're going to bring that into baseball? I thought baseball was a pure sport.
It is.
Not about theatrics.
Dude, every sport's about theatrics. Every sport's about theatrics. Every time I go to a Braves game, they light off fireworks every time anybody does anything. It's all about it's always been about theatrics. Babe Ruth pointing that bat out to the center field wall, calling a shot, theatrics. Hank Aaron hitting that record-breaking home run and having a couple of guys run out there carrying an American flag, patting him on the back. That's theatrics. It's all theatrics. Barry Bonds going yag into the bay. Theatrics. It's all theatrics. Every sport is theatrics. Theatrics are what makes sports fun. We all consider different elements of it the theatrics. For some of us, a 84-yard Hail Mary touchdown with a stellar basket over the shoulder catch is the theatrics. For some of us, the quarterback getting into the defensive lineman's face and chirping him up is the theatrics. We all find our theatrics in different places, but sports is theatrics. The umpire ain't relevant in terms of the actual calling of the ball or the strike, which is good because umpires will not be as efficient and effective as the robo-ump. For the record, that is precisely and exactly why I would love for spring training baseball to have some games that have zero ABS, some games that have ABS on the challenge system, and some games that are fully ABS, because then at the end of the spring training period, games that don't count to a team's march to a World Series, we can look at all three groups of games and we can go, you know what? The ABS over here in the challenge system, it slowed the game down 2 minutes, but we felt like the drama was still there in the calls. However, players were able to correct awful calls. And over here in the fully ABS automated game, the game was actually X amount of minutes faster. And while there was a little bit less drama, the calls were right. And over here in the games that were fully human being called, we had a lot more bad calls, but the drama was ramped up because umpires understand how to inject a little drama into the game. That's not their job. That's the player's job. So Zoe back there gets to stand up and he gets to, I think he's a pull the ripcord strike guy, like a chest high pull the ripcord guy. All right. He might be a big fist pump guy. I don't know.
Except I'm not trying to ruin it. I would not do the job because I'm out there. I would rather be a professional wrestler or an actor than be out there and basically be doing what the computer tells me to do. I'm not going to do that. And I don't think there are a lot of people who go, okay, how much? Okay, I'll do it. But I'm not doing that.
Let's see here. What's the latest salary? What is the salary?
Oh no, that salary will go down because they no longer have any relevance. So that salary would go down major.
Major League Baseball umpires, depending on experience, can earn anywhere from $150,000 to $450,000 per year. The average salary sits around $300,000. Tell you what, MLB, for $100K, I'll travel the country and be your little theater boy. I'll travel the country doing whatever my little Apple Watch tells me to do. Oh, it's green, strike three. I'll take my
how them
check,
guys
please,
going to
Rob.
live? They're used to a certain lifestyle, and you're trying to put them on the unemployment line.
There it is. Used to a certain lifestyle. All right. Most of these guys are
You
also
are
other
uncaring,
things
you are
inside.
unfeeling, and it's hurtful to be in a room with someone who doesn't
ask you-
care about
let me
their
ask you a
fellow
question.
human.
Let me ask you a question. When a Major League Baseball player goes out there and he bats 170 on the career and they cut his ass from the team, do you go, oh, that poor guy, he has a certain standard of living and now he can't make it because he was bad at his job? No, you go, sucks to be you, buddy, get better.
No. See, I'm a compassionate human being. I feel bad when anyone loses their job. Even if they deserve to lose their job, I still feel bad that they lost their job.
Sports.
I don't celebrate when an umpire loses his job like you did last year.
He didn't lose his job. He retired.
Okay.
And also, damn right, I threw a whole ass party. Angel Hernandez sucked, and he negatively impacted the game. I don't traditionally celebrate people losing their job, traditionally, except when there's one criteria, one qualification. You know what that is? When you, being bad at your job, start to negatively influence and impact everybody else. That's when I'll celebrate you losing your job. And I don't care what profession you're in. I don't. Radio broadcaster, federal authority, garbage man, whatever. If you are bad at your job and it has a negative impact, a detrimental impact on people around you, then yes, you got to go. I don't even have to say I'll celebrate it. But like, I don't really feel like I don't feel a sense of sympathy. You're making people's lives worse. And yes, maybe this is selfish of me. I'm a selfish guy. What do you want? When I drive to Atlanta, Georgia, and head over to Truist Park to go watch the Atlanta Braves play, I pay money for a ticket, and I pay money for parking, and I pay money for food, and I pay money for beer, and then I pay money for beer, and then I pay money for beer, and then I pay money for a hotel room, pay money for gas to drive back and forth. I pay a lot of money to go to Atlanta Braves game. You know what I want to see? I want to see the outcome of the game determined by the Atlanta Braves and whoever they're playing, not Angel Hernandez. And I have watched Angel Hernandez be the deciding factor in too many games. And every time he does, and he would ring up a ball that's 4 inches off the plate as a strike, or he'd ring up a strike that was 4 inches off the plate, or vice versa, whatever I said. I don't even know where I lost that. I heard Angel Hernandez and I saw red. Every time that happens, he's negatively impacting a pitcher who is getting his contract determined by his statistics and his performance. And they don't say, well, this guy threw for, 114 strikeouts last year, but he would have had 119, but he had 2 Angel Hernandez games. Or this guy threw for 124. This guy struck out at the plate 210 times last year, but 17 of them were on bad calls outside. They just say this is what it is. That's negatively impacting people. It is impacting the players. It is impacting the managers. And if nothing else, because I'm a selfish S of a B, it's impacting me as a fan. That's it. That's it. That's the whole take. If we have a way to call objective calls with 100% effectiveness, we ought do it. There's no reason not to. If tomorrow somebody comes up with a robo car that actually works, a self-driving vehicle that actually works, and we can prove it empirically, We can run the test. We can put them on the interstates. And tomorrow they say, hey, if people stop driving, we'll have 0 car accidents and nobody will die from vehicle accidents anymore. As much as I love driving, it's one of my favorite things. I would give up driving if we could go 99% decrease in accidents and fatalities caused by vehicles. I'd 100% give up something that I love for that. Okay? Sorry, 76 umpires. If we can do it better in a way that allows the game to be called the way that the game should be called for the athletes to determine the outcome, not the dudes in the visors, we do that. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
So I feel targeted, and I don't know if I'm offended or interested in making a purchase. So suddenly, on my screen, the tagline is luxurious softness. You're never underdressed in a premium black tee. Goodbye man boobs. Confidence booster. Hides belly. 6-pack, $44.
Okay, first off,
what
what were the first words?
Luxurious softness?
That's just my nickname now.
Okay. What am I wearing today?
A black t-shirt of luxurious softness.
Yeah. Wouldn't even shock me if it's not the same brand. Probably not, because this is a little bit cheaper than that. But start talking about robots, and the robots pay attention a little bit more.
They see you.
They're trying to soften me up on my stance. That's what it is. The robots are like, hey, I offer him some luxurious softness. Maybe he'll be okay with us taking over. I'm on to you, robots.
I see you, algorithm.
Luxurious softness. I can tell you what you can do with your luxurious softness. I'm contacting HR. Rob used my last name more times in that segment than it's been used on the air in probably the last decade.
Honestly, that's probably not true. I pulled out my putter last night to bring it in here, and then I forgot to.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave it in here, though, to get thrown away. Like your box.
Cardboard box.
Ooh, are you playing foot golf?
I am.
How well are you doing?
5 in a row, but only from like 5 feet. It's backed up to like 6 feet. 1 for 1. Somebody brought into the studio. Oh, I missed. Pushed it wide right. Somebody brought into the studio a little like putting device. It's got a little putting target area about that big, and when you do, it's got a little ramp, and it's got a thing that like a plunger on it, and it shoots the ball back to you when you make it, which is great. Except for when I bring my putter and I start putting from here, if I miss, I have to go get the ball.
Oh no!
Which means I will effectively putt like 1 time per break.
Or it will shoot the ball back and you'll miss it and come over here somewhere, and I'll slip on it and almost kill myself like I did with my headphones. That was precarious because if I pulled my leg too much, I might break my headphones. And they were wrapped around the chair and around my ankle. And it cost a lot of money.
Few more minutes here on the Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate, repping it up, the final segment. I have a couple more bits of sound that I want to play for you on the way out here. I have referred to myself on this show, sometimes sarcastically and sometimes very genuinely, as Dr. Love. Because if there's one thing Rob Brown knows, it's the ladies. Okay? Hello, ladies. You know who I think may be more romantically inclined by me? And I just found this from a 22-second social media clip that I got to tell you, as a straight white man, I heard this and I'm like, swoon. I'd go for him.
I gotta stop you and point out that you've been borderline gangster speak for the last couple segments. Like you've gone straight up New York. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if it's on purpose or if you're getting that thing that disease or whatever it is, where you start talking in another accent?
Foreign accent syndrome, that's a
Yeah.
real thing.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. You take a head injury and suddenly you just have a foreign accent. It's a real thing. It's wild. No. I don't know what caused it. I get real emotional over robo-umps. All right. I'm impartial to robo-umps. I'm a big fan. But I'm slowing it down here because this segment's for the gals. This segment's for the ladies. This segment's for the ladies of the Armada. I know you're out there. And while I appreciate you tuning in to be a part of our show, part of our program, there may be a fella out there in the world of athletics that somehow is even more seductive, sultry, and impressive than me. Boban Marjanovic. Because, Valentine's Day, just a handful of days ago. And Boban, he decided that he, on his social media, was going to send out a special little post for the gals.
I tell you something, girl. You're so pretty and you're my world. I love you to me. Looking forward to see you soon. I love you.
Compete with that, fellas.
Why is there not more? Why?
Because the world can't handle that much seduction in one Instagram post.
I wanted
If he'd
more.
have done more than that, there would have been ladies' undergarments hitting the ground across America.
So is this a cover of a song? Because I didn't recognize this song.
It sounds like, and I don't think it is, but it sounds like Shallow, right?
I tell you something, girl.
Tell me something, girl.
You're so pretty and you're my world.
I just don't know what he said there, do you?
No, I don't. Forgot the lyrics to that song, too, though.
Looking forward to see you soon.
And then
I
nothing,
think it's
man.
shallow.
And then nothing. I want to hear the rest of the chorus. I mean, he brought us there. He got us right there and hooked you, and you just want to hear the rest, and it's gone. It's disappointing.
I want you to think about this, though.
You just teased everybody listening right now. We could have heard the whole song.
For the record, that's all he posted. This wasn't like Rob cut it off after 22 seconds because that's all. If that was a 17-minute song, it had just been this whole segment. I'd have just been like, everybody, sit back, light a candle, grab you some chocolate-covered strawberries, put your hands around your loved one, and listen to Boban. I think Boban only posted 22 seconds of Boban singing a love song because it's all we could handle. I'd like to point out the two straight old white fellas sitting in this room are sitting here going, that's it, Boban? That's all you're giving to us? Which means that those of you out there that are romantically inclined towards the male gender, I can't imagine that you're not titillated right now. I can't imagine that you're not a little hot under the collar, so to speak. Because that's the definition of seduction.
You know when you hear that song that it touches you somewhere, and you just like, yeah, this is my song for now, at least, maybe forever. This is my song, and it had the potential to do that, and then it just stopped.
I also want more Boban. I want the rest of that song. You know why I want the rest of that song? Because I feel like if I go home today, the wife doesn't come home for a couple of hours after I do. She gets home around 5. If I go home and she comes home and I light a candle, cook her a little dinner. Maybe I order out. She's a big sushi gal. Get a little sushi into the crib. All right, pop open a bottle of her favorite rosé. I open up the cork on my favorite Cabernet. And then I just put a little Boban love song on in the background. I feel like Rob Brown's going to come in here a very, very happy man tomorrow.
By the way, I am researching, trying to find more of the song. It is Shallow, by the way.
I figured it was. It sounds like it.
Which I've never heard. So
You ever
at least I
heard
don't-
Bradley
I don't think
Cooper and Lady Gaga singing Shallow?
No, it's from the third remake of a movie.
It is from the third remake of a movie. You are correct.
Do you remember the name of the movie?
It was
A Star is Born.
Star is Born. I was in my head. I was like, Superstar. That's a different thing. But I'm telling you, lady comes home. You got a candle lit. You got her favorite wine open. You got a nice little catered dinner sitting out on the kitchen table. All right. You turn the lights down low. She opens the door and you just push play.
I tell you something, girl. You're so pretty and you my world. I love you to the looking forward to see you soon. I love you. Hello, ladies.
By the way, apparently he was singing to his wife, and Maxi Kleber was playing the piano. So another guy,
Another guy,
another NBA guy,
another guy
playing it. And there's several other things of him singing. I'm not going to bring any of them up without actually hearing them, other songs. So there could be a potential album out there that we could have on our Spotify right now.
That's why you're hanging with chicks all night long.
dude. I need Boban. Listen, from me to you, buddy. From me to you. I need you to just cut that album. And I need you to cut that album now. I need you to help the fellas of America out right now. Because if you cut that album, just Boban sings the love songs. Maybe walk us through the generations of the love songs, all the greatest love song hits. If the 7-4 love machine that is Boban cut that album and dropped it, the lady comes home, I'm hitting play on the Boban machine, and I'm telling you, I'm going to come in here tomorrow. I'm going to be pinging off the walls. I'm going to feel like $1 million because I want more of that. And if I want more of that, I can't imagine that the ladies aren't losing their mind over it. I don't know what to tell you. I genuinely feel like Boban, the love song album, might be the greatest selling album of all time. That's just world class is what that is. Thank you, Boban. Me and you.
It's Riz, baby. We got Riz.
For sure. For sure. I was supposed to do that, get out at 9:45, give us like 4 more minutes before we get to what the X is going on. I don't know where to go from that. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do after that. I don't know how I follow that up. I don't know what it is that I say.
Apparently he released a song called I Just Wanna.
And me too, Boban. That's why I'm playing your music.
And it was released this last year. It's 2 minutes and 32 seconds long. I don't know, man.
I don't know if we got the willpower to make it through that.
It's up to you because it's taking a risk. Without listening, I don't know if it's something,
Give me
suitable for
skip
radio.
it somewhere in the middle and give me 15 seconds.
All right, let me take it down in case there's some commercials first.
Skip it somewhere in the middle.
And there were commercials, so that was a good move on my part.
Let's skip just random 15 seconds somewhere in the middle of the song, and I want to see how many of us are able to resist the magic, the pure romance, the pure seduction, the pure audio sex that is Boban.
Wow.
Not what I thought we were going with here. Come on, Boban, give it to me, buddy.
Dance.
Late night rendezvous, got an appetite for you. Face in my face, laser rays.
So is Boban's song just him saying, dance?
You told me to go to the middle, so I did.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead a little bit more. All right, so it's like...
I'm going to go to the beginning.
It's like Club EDM, but just Boban saying, dance. So it's just Boban saying dance.
Yeah,
for the record,
I'm disappointed, but
I'm
still.
getting the impression that Boban knows that America can only handle so much of Boban at a time.
So he has so much sex appeal, he can say one word and they can make a song out of it.
Dance. Are you kidding me? I I got to tell you. Hey, I make jokes. I'm going to go ahead and tell all of you. I'll pull the curtain back a little bit. You want a little Rob Brown? I lack a lot of self-confidence. All right. I've never approached a woman in a bar in my life. I just don't have that in me. I ain't got that dog in me. I don't believe in me at all. I have to trick myself into doing this job every day. I think I suck at it, to tell you the truth. All right. Like, I put up the charade of like, I'm awesome. I think I suck. And that's okay. I fight through it every day. I've been in the game 17 years. I'm clearly doing okay. Y'all, I've never questioned myself more than I do after listening to Boban drop that love song. I got to tell you, if I get home and there's a little note on the desk from the wife and she's like, hey, thanks for a wonderful 3 months of wedded bliss, but I'm leaving you to go find Boban, I'd be like, that checks out. That makes sense. We had a good run. And then Boban dropped a hit. How do I compete with that? How do I in any way, shape, or form try to convince any woman on America that I have anything on the 7-4 love machine that is Boban? Singing like that? Like I'm damn close to seduced. That's art. That's poetry. That's romance. That's seduction, all wrapped up into 22 seconds of maybe the greatest love song ever recorded. Maybe the greatest love song ever dropped. Boban, on one hand, I'm real mad at you because you just set an unrealistic and impossible standard for the men of America to match up to. And on the other hand, I'm mad at you because I liked it. Thanks, Boban. That's all I had.
Yeah, I didn't want to push a button because you said the funniest thing you've ever said to me. So, I mean, I don't even believe in me. That was just so good. It really was. All right, the first, because it's a lie. All right, the first thing that's Xing is Ricky Saints.
It's only partly.
It was great though. It was.
Ricky Saints, aka the artist formerly known as Ricky Starks, made his debut last night in WWE's NXT, left AEW. He actually, very interestingly, did say that part of the reason he decided to bail on AEW was that some older veterans began getting involved in his creative direction, which was about the same time that Ricky Starks disappeared from TV. However, Ricky Starks, I did find this out, Ricky Starks is his actual legal real-life name, and since WWE wants to own the trademark of the name that they perform under, they had to change it to something. Ricky Starks, obviously being from New Orleans, they just stuck Saints on the end. Sure, I get to watch more Saints lose routinely.
That's wow. I mean, hopefully, eventually.
I actually really like Ricky Starks.
Yeah, so do I. Hopefully,
I think he could be a dude.
Eventually, they'll go back to the Vince way of doing things, and he'll just be Ricky. No longer Ricky Saints. Are they going to change his ring gear?
They go Ricky Saint. That's like Saints is not a last name.
Yeah, Ricky Saint works better.
Ricky Saint would have been fine.
Yeah, it absolutely would be. All right, the next thing that's Xing is the Big Ten.
I don't know if this is why.
Think basketball. Think basketball.
Is it Mick Cronin? I bet it's Mick Cronin.
It's not. It was about Tom Izzo. But if you want to play that, Mick Cronin.
Yeah, it's like a minute and a half. I'm going to save it for tomorrow. Mick Cronin exploded in a press conference the other night. It's absolutely iconic sound. It'll be in tomorrow's Audio Blitz because I just ran out of time today. Tom Izzo, I believe, is he Big Ten all-time winningest coach now?
I believe he is now.
Yeah,
yes.
He's very good at coaching basketball. The Michigan State Spartans, they had a tank dive earlier in the year, and now they have rebounded and are well on their way back to being a single-digit seed, an upper single-digit seed in the NCAA tournament. It's not a bad little Sparty basketball team. They found a little bit.
I hate when people say little. I really do. It's so demeaning.
Whatever you say, luxurious soft.
There we go. Dude, that really does work. Without a doubt. All right. The next thing that's Xing is, but you said you were taking it, but then you called me that. So that means it's mine now. Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani is Xing or trending or Twittering or whatever because Shohei Ohtani's throwing a baseball. And, there's a handful of athletes that them just doing a thing that is very routine for the job is a thing. Shohei Ohtani, of course, missed last year as a pitcher because he had to get the old Tommy John. He is getting ready to pitch. Y'all, the Dodgers pitching staff, they might give up like 7 runs all year long. And if Shohei Ohtani comes back in any way, shape, or form, even 90% of what he was as a Cy Young caliber pitcher before the elbow injury, I have said before and I'll say again, Shohei Ohtani is the greatest baseball player of all time. When people say that about like LeBron and basketball, I'm like, all right, it doesn't matter if you believe it. There's arguments out there. When people say, this guy's the greatest football player, Tom Brady, greatest football player of all time. It's like, I don't disagree with you, but like a lot of people will, and they got good arguments about it. There is no argument for Shohei Ohtani. He is the greatest baseball player that has ever walked the face of this planet. End of sentence.
Well, people really upset about watching him in the new uniform. So that's why it's exit.
The new uniform.
Well, in the Dodgers uniform.
He's with the Dodgers last year. He was just a designated hitter, so he was only out there antagonizing people on one side of the plate. Yeah. This year, he'll be doing it on both.
People are still angry about it. Enough for it.
Okay. So actually, I do know what this is at least correlated to. About a week ago, Rob Manfred said, I think baseball fans are upset that the Dodgers, you know how much money the Dodgers have in deferred money, not paid money, deferred money. The Dodgers have, somebody put up the stat. I'm not going to be exact, but I'm going to be real close. Lonzo, the Dodgers have more deferred money on their roster than the GDP of like 32 countries on planet Earth. There are 32 countries on planet Earth with a lesser economic value than the Dodgers have in deferred money. And Shohei Ohtani is obviously a big part of that. Yesterday, Rob Manfred came out like a week after saying, I see people are upset and we're going to talk about it a little bit. And it's like, okay, like I get it. The Dodgers are playing within the rules of Major League Baseball. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Dodgers are playing within the rules of Major League Baseball. They're not doing anything wrong. Every team has the opportunity to do what the Dodgers are doing. Dodgers just want to do it. Nobody else does. Understandable. Yesterday, Rob Manfred came out and he's like, they're not doing anything wrong. It's not against the rules. We know, Rob. We know it's not against the rules. We're not upset that they're breaking rules. We're upset that the rules suck and the rules create this world where teams like the Dodgers in the number one TV market with more incoming revenue than any other team in baseball can defer the GDP of like a third of the countries on planet Earth.
All right. So as we were talking about it, luxurious softness pops into my mind. TMZ just posted a video of Shohei Ohtani trying to parallel park, which might be why he's exiting. It took a while. That's all I'm saying. It took a while, and I just watched the entire film. He got there though. He got there. Parallel parking's not easy.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Well, you got one of those. You got one of them vehicles where you push a button and it parallel parks for you.
I just learned how to do it.
Wow. So condescending.
Did you not have driver's ed?
Condescending.
Did you not have driver's ed?
By the way, I never said I couldn't do it. I said a lot of people have difficulty with it, including Shohei Ohtani, which they drive on the other side of the road in Japan, don't they?
I honestly don't know the answer.
Which would mean like you'd be paralleling the opposite anyway for him.
Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for being here. You're all amazing people. Tell your friends about us. We're trying to get rich and famous. Don't drink a job. I'll punch you in the face. Goodbye.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, crap. Did we finally do that thing where we went over? No, I think we're good.
Somebody texted, please
really
don't
close.
play that Boban song again. Not kidding. My dog started howling every time you played it. That dog understands seduction too.
I'm curious about what kind of dog it is now.
Oh, man. All right, dudes and dudettes. Thank you all for being here. Hope you enjoyed it. I had a good time today. I thought this was a fun show. Even with all the robo-ump heat coming out of it. You're all stellar people. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. See you back here tomorrow. Tell your friends about us. I want to make like a lot of money doing this.